Hello everybody, welcome to StraightA, Dawson here, and we're back with NFL Madden 2004 Imperialism. So we are continuing the trend. Thank you for the support on Madden 2003 Imperialism. I love this stuff, so we got right into recording this and getting it out going during this week. So I'm very excited. We'll see how fast I can actually get these all going for you today. As you see, the map is back. It's pretty much with some very small changes here, but also on your screen now you'll have a very simple revised rules of NFL Imperialism. So number one, we spin the NFL team wheel to select a team at random. 2, the team selected will actually spin a directional wheel. Wherever that directional wheel takes them goes from the center of the logo and takes them to a territory. There's two things that could happen. 3A, selected team expands into unclaimed territory equals the +5 overall to the 3 lowest overall starters. Then we restart directions and start from direction 1 again with that round. 3B, so this is when a selected team expands into a claimed territory. It equals a match with territory owner. Winner claims the best player addition and a +5 overall to the 2 lowest starters. And then we move to the next round and restart all the directions once again. So pretty simple, straight and to the point. Not really going to go into big detail about all that. Some small map changes I want to note. Now, there's some minor logo changes, I believe. I can't remember exactly whether the Vikings logo is slightly different. I think it's a slightly different tint, either around here or maybe a couple different Maddens for now. Either way, it might be a little bit different. The Lions logo changes a couple times in this time span, so this is one of the first changes made in the more 2002 expansion era. Then you have the Falcons. Falcons finally go to their modern day logo. I don't believe there's another change to them at all. So they're pretty much solid where they are. In terms of just logos, that's pretty much it. Maybe some other minor changed ones. The Saints I know changes a couple times, but that's about it that I can see on screen right now. So and the Browns changes a couple times. So oh well there. But beside the point, that's the kind of the more map-based stuff. But we're going to jump also right into the actual Madden 2004, which is very different. The overalls for the teams are a little bit more modern, I guess, in terms of what we know it as. Not totally just yet, but either way. And we're going to quickly run through these teams. That way you kind of get an idea of who the stacked teams are, whatever. This is based on the 2003 roster season, so that's going to be really awesome to see. I'm going to quickly run through this. That way you can kind of see some of these teams. Love the soundtrack for this. I'm not a big fan of the menu, though, and the gameplay feels weird. It's in like that more 3D, more like smooth air, like it's starting to get smoother, but like it just feels weird. It feels clunky. Beside the point, we're going to quickly go through the Bears. They're a fairly poor team in this one, but they do have some star-studded players here. Of course, Brian Urlacher is going to continue to be one of their star players. Corey Dillon for the Bengals. The Bengals, another weak team so far. They really haven't hit their stride just yet. Corey Dillon continues to be their highest overall player. The Bills, a fairly okay team, well-rounded, so there's going to be a lot of good things to possibly see from the Bills, so they're a bit more talented this year. Broncos, kind of on the lower end. They're kind of more just well-rounded, I would say. They're more just average than anything. Good roster, but again, it's more average, not really star-studded in any way. Then you have the Browns, more of a really weak team. The Browns historically in this time has been really struggling, so this is kind of their roster. Heck, their highest overall player is a punter, so take that as you will. The Bucs, very good team. Again, it was no surprise, but last year they were also one of the best teams. One of the first teams knocked out in last Imperialism. So if you haven't watched NFL Madden 2003 Imperialism, go watch that. Go see all the great stuff from that and also the more explanations on stuff along the way. I'm not going to go into all of it just right here, right now. Warren Sapp is being the best player, but they also have Simeon Rice, John Lynch, and also a good kicker. So there you go. They won't get any of those upgraded players. Cardinals, fairly weak team. Again, Leonard Davis is one of the better players here for the team, but otherwise it's pretty low end for them. The Chargers, more of an average team, but I would say more above average. They have a well-rounded roster with some higher-end players, LaDainian Tomlinson being very good running back for them. Chiefs, also very more top-heavy in terms of their really good players, but they don't have all the well-roundedness on the bottom end of the stack. But either way, still somewhere in the middle, with Tony Gonzalez, Will Shields, and Priest Holmes all being in top 3. Marvin Harrison leads the Colts here, with Peyton Manning, of course, leading them off, still being a 92 overall. Colts a very solid team, but more offensively focused still than defensively, so they'll have to challenge that again this year. Larry Allen being the leader for the Cowboys, losing his 99 club, to other people, I guess. But Cowboys, a fairly bad team overall. It just has a couple players in the 90s, otherwise not really anything too special. Dolphins, actually fairly talented team in this game, actually, believe it or not. very high-end players, but also very well-rounded players here too. Some promising people here, of course, with some very big future Hall of Famer type people. So very exciting to see from the Dolphins here. Brian Dawkins, I say future, it's probably current, also current Hall of Famers, probably more so. Eagles, another very big, talented team. This year they really got a lot of respect thrown on their name. Donovan McNabb had a really, really good overall in this game. Brian Dawkins, of course, 99 overall. So really awesome to see there. Falcons with Michael Vick still on the weaker side. Right now they were weak last year. They got a little bit better this year, I'd say, but Michael Vick had a little bit more of respect thrown on his name. But either way, still got a lot of struggling and growing pains for the Atlanta Falcons here. Then we got the 49ers, another very, very solid team with a 99 overall player with Terrell Owens. I would say still in the above average, but definitely in the top 10 category conversation here in this game. Jeff Garcia, of course, leading the team here, but fairly well-rounded with the 49ers. The Giants, more on the lower end, but they do have Michael Strahan still, which I don't remember if he was a 99 overall in the last game. I believe he was, but overall, still some struggling growing pains, but better than they were last year in Madden 2002. Jaguars, kind of more of a well-rounded average team here too. Not really much to say with them at this point. They're still kind of growing into the team they are. The Jets, another fairly lower-end team, but still got some talent on this team, especially in the higher end. So we'll see how they actually hold up this year. The Lions, fairly poverty team this year. They do have some actually better overall players than the actual season really projected the Lions to be. I believe they were a 3-win team in the 2002-2003 era. Cannot exactly remember, but either way, Packers, a very stacked roster. Brett Favre being a 98 overall. I believe that's a slight step up from him last year. Overall, still fairly good talent around him, but still could be some nice little improvements made. Panthers, lower end team here, but they have one of the best punters in the game. So what else do you really need? But yeah, Panthers struggling a little bit, but either way, still decently good. Patriots, a growing team. Of course, we know them as a big dynasty, but they're still growing into their really big and really overall great team here with a 99 overall kicker, by the way. That's really awesome to see. And Tom Brady still leading the helm here, 90 overall, so he's still building his credibility a little bit, but still very, very talented team, a very good contender, along with the Oakland Raiders, who have also a really, really stacked roster. Rich Gannon, even though he's late in his career at this point, still hitting his stride, still hitting those 97 overall, and a fairly well-rounded roster here with a good O-line especially. The Rams kind of falling off a little bit, but they're still one of the juggernauts in this game as well. So Marshall Faulk, of course, Kurt Warner still up there, but fairly dropped off from his 97 last year, I believe 96 last year. Then you have the Ravens, somewhere more on the high end, of course. I mean, Ray Lewis is going to get you there when he has 99 overall, and almost 99 overall left tackle in Jonathan Ogden. So that's pretty awesome. Ravens more higher end, but they do have some holes to fill later or down the roster here. Redskins, a bit more of dependent on the top end players like Champ Bailey, and not even named number 51 from the left outside linebacker, but he's 97 overall. So go figure. But still has some talent on this team that could prove to be useful later on. The Saints, kind of again more than average category here, but they have a fairly good roster here. Fun players. Seahawks, kind of same thing as the Saints. Some talented players here, but otherwise. Steelers, kind of surprised with their overall being so low. They actually did fairly well around this time period, but they still have Hines Ward, so that's pretty awesome here. Otherwise, the Texans still growing into the team a little bit. Aaron Glenn, one of the big pro experts here. Jamie Sharper, also kind of more of a veteran at this point. Gary Walker. David Carr still QB, I believe, for 4 full years. Andre Johnson is a new wide receiver here, one of the best wide receivers the league has seen. And he's on this team now, but still fairly, still struggling into growing into a team they need to be. Tennessee Titans, also fairly talented roster, but surprisingly the overalls in the game really keeps them in the mid area. So we'll see how they actually hold up. Of course, they won the juggernauts last year in Madden 2002. So we'll see what Steve McNair can do this year. Meanwhile, the Vikings have Randy Moss, 98 overall, 99 speed. Of course, he's a cheat code, basically, with Dante Culpepper still leading charge over there. But still fairly good roster from the Vikings. Now, we do have, I just want to quickly go through the 99 overalls. I mean, we already kind of did, but, Ray Lewis, Adam Vinatieri, Terrell Owens, Brian Dawkins, and Marvin Harrison, and Derek Brooks all being 99 overalls. Really cool to see. No QBs in the club right now, but there you go. That was kind of my quick and easy go through the rosters. Let's get to the settings. Just to show you that the settings are pretty much all the same. I mean, there's really no changes, but I just want to show you 8-minute quarters, skill level all Madden, injuries are on, existing injuries are off, fatigue on, random weather is off, so we're controlling that element of it. But I am not playing, so none of these really matter. Penalties are going to be all even, all of it's enabled too. AI is going to be as aggressive as possible. So there you go, look at this, boom, boom, boom. All the AI settings are also the same with the sliders, and there's not really much to worry about. But you know what I'm going to worry about? Getting right into this matchup with our very first round of NFL 20. Oh my gosh, I almost said 20. NFL 2004 Madden. What I'm concerned about is getting into the first round of Madden 2004 NFL Imperialism. Without further ado, we're getting to the first roll, or first spin of Madden 2004. Let's see who the first team stepping up to the plate this time around will be. Will we see the Tennessee Titans early on once again? We shall. Tennessee Titans, where will you be going to start off your big on crusade to see if you can actually redeem yourself? More northeast, so we're going to go more northeast with Tennessee Titans. Going to be a simple expansion. I don't know exactly whether it's going to be Kentucky or North Carolina, or no, not North Carolina, Virginia. So give me a second and I'll get right to it. With that expansion, it was into Kentucky pretty easily. I didn't really question it too much because it was just pretty well written, or pretty well written in the sand, written in the map, whatever you want to say. And I use my very big intelligent calculator here that is, you know, completely right. It tells the trajectory of the line and makes everything right. Totally isn't the paper that I put to my screen, once again, just to kind of clarify that. But Tennessee Titans do expand, and they do improve the 3 lowest players. The 3 lowest players are, and again, the attributes in the overalls for these players are a lot different than the first game or Madden 2003. So the wide receiver 2 went from a 74 to a 79, D tackle from a 72 to a 77, and that was a D tackle 2 because they run with 2 D tackles. And middle linebacker from a 61 to a 66. So pretty good improvements overall. Of course, most of the players into the 70s, well into the 70s, but they do have a player still stuck in the 60s. That's kind of funny, stuck in the 60s. That feels like a time period thing, but whatever. Beside the point. Also, lower down the music. Realize it was pretty loud, so we're going to roll. I like the soundtrack for this thing enough, but it feels really kind of that weird old phase. Beside the point. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. We're just going to move on to spinning the wheel once again, because we did have a Tennessee Titans expansion, but we do need an actual matchup pretty soon. But we see from the New Orleans Saints, who actually are making a pretty good appearance here. I haven't seen them in a hot minute since they were eliminated from the Texans. Pretty much north, but a little bit more in the west direction. So they're pretty much just going to expand into Arkansas, improving their team a little bit, kind of getting up and up out of the average category. So we'll see you in a second for the expansion. So no big surprises here thus far with basically the expansions early on. Obviously, there's a lot of territory to claim. A lot of people could just go into, right and expanding. So Tennessee Titans and Saints, of course, natural to see some expansion from them. Saints actually improved their team decent bit, going from here. I'll bring up the screen too. Why not? Bringing up their strong safety from a 70 to a 75, their D tackle 2 from a 76 to an 81, and their left outside linebacker from a 75 to an 80. Notably, just kind of a fun thing I'll kind of cover here every now and then. The D tackle Jonathan Sullivan is a rookie and a really good rookie, so 313 pounds, 6'3", pretty big guy, but he's now an 81 overall. But either way, again, we have to go and find a team. We got to see what our first matchup of Madden 2004 is going to be, because I'm kind of excited. Oh, Dallas Cowboys? That's a different one. We haven't seen Dallas Cowboys in a hot minute, too, since they lost their matchup. But it was very early on in Madden 2003, so they're going more northeast. So maybe that's that's an expansion again. So they're going to improve their team a little bit. Again, they're kind of a struggling team in Madden 2004, so this nice little expansion will help them quite a bit. Just like that, America's team claimed a little bit more of America and maybe gets one step closer to maybe claiming the entirety of the United States. Either way, though, they actually had some decent upgrades with, of course, they actually had 270 overall centers. I just took the top one. Whoever had the most experience, I think, is what they put them in order of depth chart. So whatever, it doesn't matter that much because he went from a 70 to a 75. We did have our first kicker upgrade from a 70 to a 75 as well. Pretty good kick power, though, at this point, because I kind of go back and forth between kick power and kick accuracy. So good for that person. And then we have a good old D tackle 2 going from a 70 to a 75. Pretty popular for D tackle 2s to be kind of not as good, but all 3 teams have ran 2 D tackle offenses, 2 D tackle defenses so far. Either way, we have a nice expansion, and are we gonna keep on continuing the trend of seeing teams expand and seeing them make something of themselves? Or are we gonna see a match? We're gonna see a grueling battle. Green Bay Packers, what are you gonna do here? Actually, I think you pretty much have no choice. Now you slightly have a choice. And you may have taken that choice. Holy moly, that is going to be close. But no, it's not going to be close at all. It's going to be Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. More than likely. Give me 1 second to check. Of course, it was the Packers going to the Vikings. We have not seen this matchup yet, of course. The Packers and Lions faced off last time, but this is a new matchup for us. Packers will be attacking the Vikings, and we're going to see who really has the big advantage here. The Packers do have an overall advantage, of offensive advantage, and a pretty good defensive advantage too, but just marginal ones. So the Vikings can still pull this off, still got some star-studded players. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm kind of curious in our first matchup for Madden 2004. So here we are tuning into basically one of the last scores of the game. Green Bay just kicked a really kind of gut punch field goal down at the Vikings. It's 51-27. Game's pretty much over. So yeah, I mean Green Bay absolutely just tore the house down on this one. Just kind of a note here as we kind of wrapping this up. This game is very slow in terms of like how fast this goes. Now this is the first game with actually an accelerated clock feature, and I did not put the accelerated clock feature on. So maybe it's on me. Maybe that's a thing I should have done. I'm still going to keep it off. I think it's fairly realistic. I want to keep this as realistic as possible, at least for the meantime. But this game also feels very kind of more arcadey. You know, obviously it's early game, so it's obviously they're more arcadey. But the first game felt more like, you know, realistic, I guess, in some regards, at least in scores and stats and stuff like that. But this one actually fairly like, you know, high scoring, very fast. Did a practice run game in like first half, you know, first quarter I think it was like already 14-7, 21-14 or whatever. It was pretty high scoring. So kind of. I don't know how to feel about that. So Madden 2004, good for you, I guess, in some regards. So that's kind of interesting. Good smooth animations, though. But either way, they're at fourth down. It's 51-27, final score. Green Bay Packers easily take this victory and get to steal a player now. Not too shabby, Green Bay. Losing the very first match of Madden 2003 and winning the first match of Madden 2004. Not too shabby, I'd say. Especially not too shabby, adding a really good D-tackle, Chris Hovan from the Vikings to the Packers here now. And, of course, some other minor adjustments, I believe, to their their punter, sorry, from a 70 to 75. I actually didn't write this down. But 70 to a 75. And, hold up, we're going to find this. The punter from a 72 to a 77. My mistake there. And then the left outside linebacker from a 70 to a 75, I believe. Or the middle linebacker. Can't remember. It was one of these linebackers, though, so one of them got upgraded a little bit. So the Packers are starting to look really, really good. Honestly, kind of making me rethink, like, man, maybe, you know, +5 to even winning, just outside of winning a player. Maybe it's a little too overpowered in these earlier games or newer games. But, oh well, we're going to stick with it and move forward because we also have another round to fulfill. After, of course, we get rid of our poor Minnesota Vikings from the list here, wherever they may be. Bye-bye, Minnesota. We are getting rid of you. Goodbye. We'd love to see you, but we hate to see you go. I don't know. Either way, we have the Seattle Seahawks, which this is pretty much going to be a guaranteed expansion at this point because Seattle has pretty much nowhere to attack. But north, I don't think they can go directly north, unfortunately. There's no land in Canada, unfortunately, for Seattle to claim. So you will have to pick another direction to expand, or just keep on picking northeast, or in like slightly northeast, I mean. Or northwest, you know, none of these are valid targets yet. Northeast would definitely wouldn't have ended in anything. Thank you. Going pretty much directly south, pretty much right in Oregon, so that's pretty good to see. I'm going to get this expansion and show you the upgraded players as well. Seattle was able to upgrade a few key pieces, right guard from a 72 to a 77, free safety from a 73 to a 78, and their rookie kicker from a 70 to a 75, making pretty suitable stats for all around all of these players. So really good to see from the Seattle Seahawks, again from their normal expansions. Of course, they got Oregon. You know, now they're at least bordering another team, and I think before they just kind of kept on going east, so they didn't have to worry about much. But now they're bordering the 49ers at least, which may be a little bit more threatening for them since the 49ers are a pretty good team in this game. Either way, we do have to spin again. Seattle Seahawks did their turn. They're good to go. They got some upgraded players. Now we're going to see if the Tampa Bay Bucks, they are a pretty dang good team in this game. Of course, I believe they're pretty much right in the middle of Jacksonville and Miami. So they will be going one way or the other. I will be being tedious, or not tedious. I will be nitpicky with the arrow because I am going to make sure it hits one of the territories, not just say, oh, north or east. You know, like for example, that is not going to hit anything. So I'm gonna not gonna say, oh, that's more north than anything. So I'm gonna choose the Jags or whatever. So that is pretty obviously going to be Jags. So Buccaneers will go up north instead of going down south to face the Dolphins. They will go ahead and just take the fight to the Jaguars. So this will be a really interesting fight to see. Just a little fun fact as we're getting into this game. The Jaguars and Buccaneers have not faced off yet. It was Jaguars versus Dolphins, and I believe Buccaneers versus Dolphins. So this is one of the matchups in basically Florida that we haven't seen. So really cool to see. But either way, only one of these teams can walk out and possibly face Miami or just keep on expanding north. So we're going to see who it is here in just a second. Here we are with the one of the final drives. One of the final chances for Jacksonville to actually stay in this game is about 2-minute warning about to happen here in a minute. Jacksonville is down 13-10, so well, down 10 to 13 basically. Low scoring game actually. So I guess the game being more well, wow, pick six just sealed the fate of Jacksonville just there. I was about to go on a ramble like, oh, maybe this game isn't like a whole bunch of scoring after scoring after scoring. But yeah, I mean, it really isn't. I guess not after seeing the score of this game. It's pretty actually similar in that regard, but maybe with higher end points. Who knows? Beside the point, Jacksonville did just basically throw away the game with the pick six there, right? Pretty much at the beginning of the drive. They have a little bit of a shot maybe if they drive down, don't use any timeouts and get done. Maybe they have a shot, but it doesn't look very likely. Jacksonville fought to the very end, fought to the very, very death of their franchise here in Madden 2004, but they did lose to Tampa Bay. Final score 20-10 in a very low-scoring affair. Jaguars even got the ball back twice. They threw an interception on the second drive, and then the third drive they just turnover on downs, four downs and out basically. So it was over, but the crying. So well, Buccaneers claiming some land like the Buccaneers do. So honestly, the Buccaneers were already pretty stacked to begin with in this game, and they only got a 9 overall upgrade from the Jaguars in terms of they got a running back, Fred Taylor, from basically the 81 upgrade from Michael Pittman to Fred Taylor from 81 to 90. So kind of a little crazy there that they already are so stacked everywhere else. They really didn't need anybody else from the Jaguars, and they already got an upgrade from their left end to a 77 from a 77 to an 82, and a center from a 75 to an 80, making pretty much all their players in the 80s, pretty much, maybe aside from 1 or 2 players. But I'm pretty sure all of them are now in the 80s, and the Buccaneers are starting to already look scary after just one game played. And honestly, they were already scary before, claiming a little bit of Florida too, making that little panhandle look pretty nice. But this is kind of the state of our board at this point, a couple expansions, couple matches so far, but we're seeing some major players already become established in this game, and I'll be very curious to see what happens from here. But of course, just like with anything, any good things going on, we have to eliminate Jacksonville Jaguars and spin again to see who the next team will be, I should say, and who will step up to the plate. And we're going to see the New Orleans Saints again, and see if they're willing to go and either expand some more, maybe go into a matchup straight up. So a little bit more east, but more southeast, more so than anything. And it's easily just an expansion, so they're just going to improve their team. So we'll get that done straight away. And just like that, New Orleans is just taking over everything down there, getting just as much territory almost as the Cowboys, it looks like. If you look at their players, they upgraded. We got a nice little roundabout of everything. The strong safety went from a 75 to an 80. The right outside linebacker, 78 to an 83. And, of course, the center from a 78 to an 83. So, again, Saints are now building up their team a little bit. After 2 expansions, it helps them bring it up. 30-plus overall does not hurt a team, trying to play for contention, especially against some really good teams out there like the Buccaneers. Keeps them in running here a little bit. Either way, though, we have to roll for another team because we need a round 3 matchup. We need to see who's feisty and who's ready to go. Ooh, the Buffalo Bills. The Miami Dolphins almost got spun into there. That would have automatically made them go against the Buccaneers. But the Buffalo Bills are going straight west, which I don't think they really can do. And since they're not connected to the Lions, I would normally allow something like this if they had some kind of landmass connected. But since they don't, oh well. As you see, by the way, Dolphins only can go one way, so if they did get landed, they are automatically facing the Buccaneers, which would have been very unfortunate for both the Dolphins and probably the rest of the board. So anyway, Bills have to go somewhere and have to either fight somebody or expand. Looks like it's going pretty much east, but a little bit more northeast, so it's actually going to be pretty close here. So give me a second as I measure out which one of these 2 teams it's going to be. And as you see from the screen here, the Bills narrowly clipped the Giants' territory. So it will be a rematch from Madden 2003 where the Giants picked up a win. This will be a rematch. Both teams very similar odds here and pretty much stack up very well against each other. So one team's going to walk out a victor here. The other one's going to walk out a loser. Hopefully it's a close game. We'll see. And well, in the second meeting of the Giants and Bills, Giants take away the second victory against the Bills. This time at home, the Bills did come away and they, attacked them this time. So, unfortunately, final score for this game will be 58-31. Very high-scoring game. The Giants absolutely destroyed the Bills. The Bills couldn't get anything going on offense or defense. Very destructive game. So we have to say farewell to the Bills and Giants. You're expanding your territory into Buffalo once again. Well, what a familiar sight we see, except a little bit different. It's going in the lower half of the boot rather than the upper half, first. So, Giants claim some territory, improve some players, and got a pretty decent upgrade by stealing the Buffalo Bills left guard, Reuben Brown. 22 overall advantage there, pretty nice. As well, not only the left guard was, basically upgraded, the right guard and the right tackle were also upgraded from a 65 to a 70 and a 72 to a 77 respectively. So the offensive line of the Giants wasn't very great before this game. It's now pretty solid, and they still put up a lot of points. It's against a decent Bills team who matched up decently well to them. So, say what you will, but the Giants might be onto something here for the rest of this NFL imperialism. But for now, we do have a job to do, and we do have to take out the Buffalo Bills. I am sorry. The Buffalo Bills will be eliminated if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. My sincere regards to you, but we do have to move on and fight on strong and see what team is next. And it will be the Tennessee Titans. We've seen Tennessee Titans a lot in these NFL imperialisms, and we're going to see if they get a matchup rather than expansion here. Pretty much east, a little bit more north in the eastern direction. So, boom, let's go. Scroll out here and get a little bit of the thing going here. So, that's going to be pretty close. It may be an expansion here, but let me check for you real quick. Well, my mistake. Actually, we have a matchup here between the Tennessee Titans and the Panthers. Barely hit, but still pretty much hit on the Carolina dead on. So we have a Tennessee Titans team who's expanded a little bit, facing off against the Carolina Panthers. Nice little matchup here against the blue teams. So we get to see a little bit of a nice little matchup. So we're going to see if Tennessee Titans can be the juggernaut they were last time, and see if they can continue that momentum from Madden 2003 and claim their first title here in Madden 2004. While the Carolina Panthers are just looking to make an impact in some way or regard. I think they were a first, game elimination, so we'll see how it goes. And well, with that, we have another blowout ensued. Tennessee's really really making a name for themselves in NFL imperialism. 44-26. We're seeing some high-scoring games here in Madden 2004. So very unfortunate for the Carolina Panthers. Their NFL imperialism run this go around is also cut short. Tennessee Titans are solidifying themselves and possibly even solidifying themselves in this matchup for a possible actual championship run rather than just eliminating a bunch of teams. So we'll see how their team stacks up. And this is a trend with Tennessee Titans in their games because they received a nice little player to add to the defensive line. Dan Morgan becomes a middle linebacker here for the Tennessee Titans. Good 19-point upgrade from their previous middle linebacker of Chamberlain. And they also upgraded their center from a 75 to an 80 and their second D tackle from a 77 to an 82. Making a pretty solid team overall. Tennessee Titans still building them up, and kind of after the expansions have really improved the team quite a bit. Looking at the map now, look at that. They own a little bit of a weird sliver of land, a little bit more of like a little bit elongated thing, but they own a little bit of the East Coast, so that's kind of nice. But either way, we got to go back to the spinner because Tennessee Titans did defend their place successfully, so we have to eliminate the Carolina Panthers from contention here, which are the little nice, wow, I can't believe like a little brown silverish tint or whatever. So good for them. Either way, we are now rolling to the next round. We are going through this. Not as many expansions early on as was last time, but the Washington Redskins could change that. Almost called them the Washington Commanders. I guess same thing, same franchise at least. And they're going pretty much dead west, a little bit to the north. So let's see where they kind of end up. It looks like it's going to be expansion. In terms of where exactly it's going to be close, but I'm going to guess it's more. Let's see, yeah. But I'm going to guess it's going to be like this little West Virginia kind of portion, but we'll check it out and just see. It was in the good old West Virginia, making the Redskins logo actually kind of nice and centered instead of kind of in that little weird little area. So kind of nice to get away from Baltimore there. So nice little West Virginia takeover for them. Meanwhile, over on their actual improvement stage, they actually had some lower end players. Of a tight end at a 61 is now at a 66. The center's now from a 71 to a 76, and the punter now is from a 71 to a 76. Okay, improving the kick power and the kick accuracy. You got to make a well-rounded team overall. Either way, tight end is going to be the kind of the lower end part of the team, but overall, still some mid 70s in this team. So more improvements are needed, but Redskins could be a nice little valuable matchup here for some other opponents here. Meanwhile, we will have to roll again, of course, for the next team to get a real matchup going because the Redskins just purely, expanded. Denver Broncos are up next. A little fan favorite for me, a little hometown home host favorite. A little bit of a northeastern kind of expansion, it looks like. It's going to be pretty easily into Nebraska here. So we're going to go ahead and go into that. And if there's any, if I measure it and it's not that, using my calculated formula, definitely not a paper I use to, write some of the important information for the videos. Definitely not that. I'll let you know. But we'll get to the expansion here in a second. With that, the Broncos do kind of go into Nebraska and kind of expand some land. They got plenty of room between players. They really don't have much they can really do to fight anybody. They can kind of clip the Chiefs. They can kind of clip the Cowboys. They can kind of clip the Cardinals barely, but they kind of can. So, current state of the Broncos, pretty nice. And current state of the map overall, we're now getting to the expansions. We're getting more and more expansions going on, so that's kind of nice to see. Some clarifications I also want to make real quick. So, of course, most of the teams in this game run 2 D tackles rather than 2 middle linebackers. Always check to make sure, but I always upgrade the second D tackle unless otherwise specified for each team. So just keep that in mind. I do check, but I just want to kind of re-clarify that. As well as if there's a tie between any attributed members that I upgrade, I kind of just pick out which one I think needs to upgrade more, basically, which line. So if it's a middle linebacker versus like a secondary, I'll check which one's already strong, and I'll choose the other one. So a little bit of clarification there, and I don't trade quarterbacks. That's a whole another thing too. Either way, the Broncos have a little bit of a weaker secondary, with the second corner being a 67. They're now at 72. The punter was a 68, now at 73. And left guard was a 72 up to a 77. So Broncos have some definitely lower end players that need to improve a little bit more. Luckily, there's a lot of space around them. We'll see if they can do that in the near future. But enough rambling. We have to keep on rolling because we only have had some expansions this round so far. So we'll see if we can match up. Ooh, Seattle. They are most likely just going to expand as well, but we'll see where exactly they're going to expand. Unless they could get a matchup. I think Northwest pretty much is dead to them. Yes, the Northwest is pretty much dead to them. So they can't go to Canada or Alaska or anything, but they're going to go kind of southwest, which if there is a matchup, it's going to be there. Oh, that's going to be pretty close. Give me a second to check. Well, if you line it up, the Seahawks will be going to San Francisco for a matchup. Seattle Seahawks did not fight for a while last time, but now they're going directly into a matchup. They had plenty of room to expand, but instead they were like, we're going to take the fight to San Francisco. They made it far last time. Let's take them down early. I like it. Let's get to the matchup. Here we are. The Seahawks just kicked a field goal to make it 30-24. The 49ers do get the ball back and do not have any timeouts. They just use them all to stop the Seahawks drive any further. So they have 1 minute and 5 seconds with no timeouts to get down the field for a touchdown. And they need a touchdown and a successful field goal, or successful 1-point conversion. And they immediately do it. Well, that is anticlimactic, because now the Seahawks are in the hot seat with 56 seconds. I believe they have all their timeouts. It may be 2 of them. But 49ers, let's see if they get the field goal, is now 31-0. Or sorry, 31-0. 31-30. Seahawks are now in the hot seat. Seahawks now have 56 seconds and I believe most of their timeouts to go here, which told me on the screen, so I didn't have to pause and stop it all. But we're actually going to slow this down just a little bit so we can get nice and enjoy this game. So Seahawks, again, 54 seconds left. Fun fact here, I forgot to say that the 49ers did win this last matchup, except, well, damn, 49ers just intercepted the ball and are now going to make this a 38-30 game. However, the Seahawks technically still have a shot at making this a tie game, because they're going for an extra point here for the 49ers. So it's actually a 38-30 game. So pretty cool there. Either way, the last matchup was between the 49ers at the Seahawks, but now the Seahawks are at the 49ers, kind of similar to the Bills-Giants game. So we're seeing some rivalries really spark up here. Either way, we have 49 seconds left on the clock here. Seahawks, again, most of their timeouts remaining, have to get a touchdown and a successful 2-point conversion. Don't know how possible it is, but the Seahawks do have a strong roster, or decently sized roster, I should say. Like more average roster, I really should say, especially after expansion. And the 49ers do have a really good roster in this game as well, so their defense might be able to just stop them here. But we're going to see. They're using all the play clock time while they don't have to use it. Almost a pick right away. Incomplete pass, 43 seconds left on the clock. The Seahawks are really going to have to try to really stay in this game, because they could go in overtime. That's really their only shot, is going into overtime. And who knows if they even are going to be able to beat the 49ers there. There we go, 3rd and 10 now, 40 seconds remaining. 49ers are keeping the ball away from the receivers here. Very impressive coverage from the 49ers so far. We'll see if they can get better pressure on them, which doesn't look like it. 4th down, Seahawks will have to go for it. This is for the game. The 49ers will have the game in the bag if the Seahawks take it from here. Let's see. Or sorry, Seahawks fail to convert here. Let's see. 37 seconds. Drop back here. Maybe. There we go. Drop back. Oh, really good one. Interception, though. Definitely converts. And this game is all but over. Final score is 38-30 in favor of the San Francisco 49ers. Just so I have it on the record, the 49ers actually won 41-30, assuming nothing else really big goes on from the Seahawks, which they could technically still convert and go and make something of the game and change up the score a little bit, but more than likely, with all the timeouts now, out, it's 41-30 is the final score. So, a little correction there on my part. Well, the 49ers sweeping the Seahawks so far, they do take a nice deep tackle, upgrading their defensive line again pretty well. The left end also upgraded from a 70 to a 75, and the kicker from a 71 to a 76. So pretty good upgrades for the 49ers here, down to our last 27 teams. Last 27 teams, but we've really only eliminated 5. We've been going and going, but we've only eliminated 5, so we're still very early in this matchup here. Here is the layout of the map again. Up in the top left corner again is now 49ers. A lot earlier this time because Seattle was in the game for a lot longer last time, but we still got a lot of teams that we haven't seen from yet, so it's time to see what we can see from them. I've already eliminated the Seahawks from this. I kind of just went ahead and was like, I better do this ahead of time this time. Either way, Green Bay Packers are here. We're going to see them again, I believe, because we already saw them earlier in the matchup take on the Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to see what they do here this time. Northwest, that actually might lead to nice little expansion. So we're going to improve some of the Green Bay team a little bit. So it's kind of nice. They're already kind of big juggernauts in this game. Let's just go ahead and improve them some more. Why not? Well, the Packers are just improving and improving as they go on. They had a wide receiver that went from a 76 to an 81, a left outside linebacker and a middle linebacker. Nick Barnett here, who's a rookie, from a 75 to an 80. Both of them went up from a 75 to an 80, I should clarify. Also, I don't know how much you're hearing the soundtrack in the background. I keep on hearing the same songs over and over. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of songs in this game, but I only hear the same 4 or 5. Plus, there's a lot of Madden 2004 specific songs. So, kind of cool. Might put this on my Spotify. Who knows? Either way, though, the Packers did claim North Dakota there, so they did increase their little kind of expansion in a little weird direction. Honestly, a lot of these teams have a lot of weird shapes, if you kind of get a good look at the board. A lot of weird shapes going on the board, but oh well. But we still are spinning once again for another team that can kind of go ahead and take on this round and see what they can do. Denver Broncos once again, or is it going to be Arizona Cardinals? Arizona Cardinals. We're going to see from them. Of course, they had a very good miracle run last time, made it to the championship, just fell short. Hopefully they can repeat that momentum and see what they can do. But I believe they're just going to kind of expand because I believe that's pretty much not going to lock into the Denver Broncos. So Arizona's going to expand and improve their team a little bit. So that's how they started last time, but this time like 21 rounds earlier. Deja vu, we have the Arizona Cardinals going into New Mexico. Who would have thought that? Anyway, beside the point. Of course, they also, just kind of some notable things here. So the center went up from a 67 to 72, left end from a 70 to 75, and Anquan Bolden, the rookie of this year for wide receiver. Actually, both their wide receivers are rookies, Bryant Johnson and Anquan Bolden. Holy crap. Cannot speak his name. Went from a 71 to a 76, so, Bryant Johnson stayed the same. For clarifications, but cool that they have their 2 main receivers were rookies this year. Kind of a fun little fact there, factoid. But Arizona Cardinals kind of look better than they did last year, though that could be the Madden, just getting gradually better and more consistent with its, overalls across the board. But beside the point, that with that expansion, we do have to spin the wheel once again. We got a lot of expansions this round as well, so are we going to see another one, or are we going to see a matchup? Indianapolis Colts, I think that's likely to be a matchup here, but who are they going to take on? South is like Tennessee, West, looks like they're going Northeast, though. Oh, it's going to be close between the Bears and the Browns and the Lions here. I think that's going to land. Ooh, I think it's going to clip the Browns, but I'll give you an answer here in a second, though. Using the totally accurate measurement of a paper, or that's actually not a paper, it's actually a mathematical formula, it barely clips that corner of the Browns there. So we will be having the Indianapolis Colts go to Cleveland, take on the Browns here in Madden 2004. Interesting matchup, so really cool to see. Maybe just a little bit anticlimactic, but the Indianapolis Colts did pretty much easily win 47-24. It looked like a close game in the very beginning. Then I looked away and did some other stuff, and all of a sudden the Browns are getting their ass kicked. So 47-24 is your final score. Colts claim some territory. Okay, hold up. Before I move on to anything else, Tim Couch threw 9 interceptions. I've never seen that in the game. I've never seen that in Madden. Not even when I play. And I throw like 5 easy a quarter. Oh my god. Like 2 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Still got a rating of 53.9 for 419 yards. Jeez Louise, dude. Alright, well, I mean, I guess so. Man. And welcome Robert Griffith to the Indianapolis Colts, maybe going to a team that might have a better shot at the NFL Madden 2004 Imperialism. Well, I guess they definitely do since the Browns are out now, so take that as you will. It's a 17-point upgrade from the strong safety from a 74 to a 91 basically. And the right outside linebacker went from a 64 to a 69, and their fullback went from a 66 to a 71. Getting some nice little upgrades, getting the fullback out of there a little bit so you can upgrade some other important positions later on. So the Colts are looking pretty good. Looking at the map right now. They have this little L shape here up by the Bengals, kind of surrounding them. Looking kind of nice, though, but they're slowly improving their team, and we'll see how they do in the foreseeable future, especially on their defense. The defense is a little bit of the weaker side right now, still from Madden 2003, of course. So, that's how it's looking right now for the Colts. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and eliminate the Browns here, who are... If I don't scroll all the way down, eliminate the Browns, who are at the very bottom of that little list there, and find our next team for NFL Imperialism here today. And it's the Miami Dolphins, which immediately leads us to another match because, if you remember, the Miami Dolphins are currently the only way they're going to go is into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are looking like a dang good team right now. And this is for the battle for Florida again, so we'll see what happens. But Miami's going to be fighting an uphill battle. For the record, I was about to go in this, end this game in a big long tangent, but oh my gosh, Miami's going to Tampa Bay for the second time in NFL Imperialism history. These two teams are squaring off together. Miami got the win barely last time by like 10 points. And, will the Buccaneers squeak out a victory this time, even though both times they're the juggernaut and home field advantage? When, the game turns out like this, you really question the monologue there, because now the final score is 48-26, and Miami just claimed all of Florida and put the Buccaneers back at home. Tampa Bay Buccaneers did last a little bit longer this time than last time, but either way, they're packing their bags and sailing off to sea while Dolphins are owning the waters of Florida. Dolphins are no strangers to Florida because they have dominated Florida, in Madden 2003 and now Madden 2004. So they're sitting pretty, and they actually have a really good roster. When you break down the roster a little bit, they have some high overalls there, and honestly, they have such high overalls that even the Bucs, who have like one of the most stacked rosters overall wise in the game, they really didn't need any upgrades from the top players like in the 90s that the Buccaneers really have. Instead, their biggest upgrade was actually at left outside linebacker from a 72 to an 87 with Dwayne Rudd, a little bit of a 6-year pro here that's now at from the Buccaneers to now the Dolphins. And with number 57, which, by the way, favorite number. So Dolphins have my blessing here with this pick. Otherwise, they also boosted up their right guard and left guard, both from a 74 to a 79. So their roster's getting really, really good. Like, low-key, it feels like, I don't know, I don't remember the Dolphins being this good back in these, older seasons in terms of, like, early 2000s. But they are kind of pretty stacked, so I'm looking forward to see what the Dolphins can do. Maybe they can make a big splash here. Otherwise, looking at the map, of course, again, they control all of Florida. This is the current state of the map. But we have to keep on continuing to change this map up a little bit because we have to find out who the real winners for NFL Imperialism Madden 2004 is, and we got to do that through matchups. So we have to remove the Buccaneers here, who are, all at the bottom. Every time, it's the Oakland Raiders, but they get hit next because, every team I've eliminated has been at the bottom. But we are seeing the Denver Broncos once again, who I believe have small chances of basically attacking somebody, but pretty much have expansions. Pretty much south, a little bit to the west. Boom. Actually, they will be having a matchup, and it looks like it's going to be against the Arizona Cardinals. So, very early matchup here for the Arizona Cardinals, but that's definitely, that's pretty much going straight to Arizona. Well, New Mexico. And they're going to face off against the Arizona Cardinals, who are, actually haven't had this early of a matchup. They were, round 27 last time from Madden 2003. So, Denver Broncos are taking the fight to Arizona. Well, it's good to see the Broncos win something here in 2023 because they are going to take a victory. It looks like 36-10. I don't think they're going to try to snap it and do something, a little cutesy stuff. But Broncos actually won this game pretty dang easily against the Cardinals. They actually had a 33-0 lead, I think, or 33-3. Then it turned 33-10, and the Cardinals tried doing something, and then end of story. Broncos actually did something pretty nice here. So they take up a win against the Cardinals and knock them out of contention, showing the Broncos' first victory, I believe, in a matchup. In NFL Imperialism so far. So that's kind of cool to see from me. I like seeing that. Broncos country, let's expand. And they did right into Arizona and New Mexico, with actually probably some of the biggest landmass competing with the Cowboys and the Packers at this point. Tennessee's got a nice little bit, and so do the Saints, and so does the 49ers. Actually, a few people have nice little, big territories brewing, and when some upgrades going along. Speaking of upgrades, though, the Broncos picked up the main corner from the Arizona Cardinals, who was an 85 overall, upgrading their 72 overall starter in terms of cornerback 2. So that was a 13-point upgrade. Otherwise, they had a punter upgraded from a 73 to a 78, and a right end from a 73 to a 78. So really improving the team, especially on the punting side, just in case they do have to do that. But knowing the Broncos, they'll never have to do that. Beside that point, we are now down to our last 24, or basically eliminating the 1/4 of the competition so far. So nice little quarterly review there in terms of what we got, and a lot of away team wins. I haven't really been looking, but I've been kind of keeping track of it. It's been kind of a little crazy. And also, by the way, I don't know what happened here. Texans, by the way. So yeah, a lot of away team wins rather than home team wins. So that's kind of a little strange to me, but beside the point. I guess things happen sometimes, so we'll see. Now, will we see the Bears or will we see the Packers? We'll see the Packers once again, who actually have a nice little bit of territory and a very good roster already. So what's going to happen a little bit northwest, so we're going to see, I think that's pretty much going into Montana, but I'm going to check, or sorry, going out into Canada, so I'm going to check real quick just to be sure, but probably just going to Canada. Into Canada it was, so we must spin again. Pretty much anything, northeast actually might work. I'm going to guess that actually might hit the little tip here. So again, kind of reviewing my rules of how I do expand, or like how I do territories. Basically, as they can hit somebody overseas. So like the Jets can hit the Giants if somehow it crosses this little area of basically sea or whatever, Canada, whatever this would be in this area. Or the Lions could technically hit the Packers with just going straight over the lake here. And the Packers can do that the same to the Lions. So this could actually accidentally hit right here. Now, a big exception here is that the Jets can't hit the Lions, because the Lions and Jets do not share any actual borders. They just share kind of like a weird coastline thing. So I don't allow like an overseas expansion type deal. So Packers could still hit somebody and hit this little tip up here and still do a matchup basically. So I'm going to check that because it might be actually pretty close, judging by the center of the G right here. So even with that taken into account, judging by the middle of the Packers, actually pretty comfortably avoids any of the Lions' mass. So unfortunately, we will not have a matchup between the Packers and Lions. But again, I think this is going to keep on going in this direction. I do have to keep on checking it just to be sure, because I want to be as committed to as accuracy as possible. But that's pretty easily just going straight back into Canada here. So I'm not going to worry about that one. So we're going to keep on rolling. So basically, hopefully it goes south eventually. So southeast, that's going to hit something. Actually, that may hit the Lions anyway. And we may have a matchup quite conveniently against the Lions, because that may skirt and hit either the Bears or Colts. Well, actually, it can't hit the Colts. So it may skirt and hit the Bears, but I believe it's pretty easily... Yeah, I know, from the angle there, it's pretty much going to be the Lions. So I'm going to check to do confirm, but I think we have a Packers-Lions game. All things considering, it was actually really like a no-brainer. So I don't even know why I questioned it that much. But this actually a little rematch, because the Lions actually attacked, I believe, the Packers last time and took away the victory. So this is a little rematch. Packers taking it back home, saying, you know what, we're actually going to put this and take our advantage now. And I think the Packers had an advantage in both this game and Madden 2003. So we'll see if the Lions can do another upset, especially at home. The home teams have not been winning lately. The away teams have been absolutely dominating, it looks like. But yeah, we're going to have a Packers-Lions game here. Man, oh man, Madden 2004 is not shy of just destroying teams in these games. 59-24 looks to be the final score, unless they just run it in. Oh my god. This is unscripted, just what the heck. We've had such one-sided high-scoring games. Madden 2004 is just insane that way. I don't even know if this is technically more arcadey or more simulation or what, but man, Madden 2004 compared to 2003 with the same settings, oh my god, they got a touchdown in with 1 second remaining. Oh my god. Like, I don't know what about it makes it this much one-sided. I don't know if the accelerated clock was meant to be. I checked the play clock. The accelerated clock shouldn't be a factor. Should be nothing, should be like basically the same. There's no accelerated clock in Madden 2003. There's no accelerated clock in this one. It's 66-24. How is this happening right now? Either way, the Packers won. Go Pack go, I guess. And this will actually make the away team so far a 7-2 total record. And the game will end there at 66-24. But holy smokies, dude! I don't even. Packers claim some more territory from the Lions and upgrade their team a little bit more. I guess that's all I'm going to say on that one. Hey guys, this isn't the Packers being upgraded. I just want to kind of point out that there's 11 interceptions that was thrown by Joey Harrington. He threw 11 interceptions. Just let that sink in. 11 interceptions. This game loves interceptions, I'm noticing. More than Madden 2024. Like, I throw like 5 a game or 6 a game, don't get me wrong, but man, I usually don't throw 11. Usually I don't throw 2 touchdowns though either, so either way, just want to share that with you, why not? And the Packers won their rematch game, of course, getting Earl Holmes from the Lions there, going from, a 9-point upgrade to their middle linebacker. So 9 points, not too shabby. And they upgrade their strong safety from a 78 to an 83, and their punter from a 77 to an 82, making their whole team at least in the 80s at this point. So the Packers are looking pretty nice overall, as well as their territory is looking pretty nice overall. I mean, this is a pretty nice little territory up here in the north side. Maybe you could center them a little bit more on the west side if you want to do that. So, something like that. They look pretty good. Good little G logo there, too, for them. So, I'm liking the look of their state of their team right now. And I'm liking the look of the state of this board right now. I want to see more. And maybe when we get further along, maybe when we get further along to some of the better teams playing, maybe we'll get some more close, tight-knit matchups that I will care to see better than... they'll care to see, kind of be a high-scoring close game rather than just one-sided high-scoring games, I guess. Because I'd really like to see, some, interesting end of the game ones. Beside the point, I'm just gonna roll. I'm not gonna keep on blabbering on. Y'all not here for me. Y'all are here for this matchup here. Washington Redskins coming out. I think this is their second appearance here, so I'm curious what they're gonna go. They're going pretty much north, a little bit to the west though, and they're gonna be facing the Steelers pretty easily. Not only had to bring out the definitely not a paper contraption to measure that, because we're having the Washington Redskins go to the Pittsburgh Steelers and face off in a matchup. Good to see. Good to see. Here we are, the Steelers' possible final drive of the game here for the Steelers. About 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, down 6 from the Redskins, but they are advancing the ball quite decently well here. All we need to see is a touchdown for them to take the lead and possibly cut the time completely off for Washington to even get a response. So Steelers have to march down the field very methodically, but also get that touchdown. A field goal will not do it. They have to go for a touchdown this drive, and the Redskins need to stop them before they get too far along. It's 2nd and 4, about midfield at this point. Pittsburgh has been doing well. It's been a high-scoring game, very good from the defensive side of the Steelers as well. A couple of interceptions from them, so we'll see if they can really, their offense can kind of step up and do something here. Minute 50 left, 2nd and 10 from about midfield in the Washington area right now, about the 42-ish yard line into Washington territory. But so they still have a lot of time, still have a lot of yards to make up though. So we'll see what they can do here to pass down a couple yards gain. 3rd and 5 now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 6 points down, like I said. Now they are, with that pass, they are easily almost in the red zone. Minute 35. And again, they're going to march this ball. They're doing this pretty well, actually. Pretty good pace they have going here. And honestly, even if they give them a little bit of time, their defense has really stepped up. So maybe their defense can kind of do something. But they throw an interception right into the end zone. Washington Redskins get a touchback, meaning they probably can kill the rest of the time. I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh does still have all their timeouts. So Pittsburgh could get one final attempt if they make some stops here. But we'll see. That was a pretty good run from the Redskins. So this game might just be over with one more first down. And was that? No, 2nd and 4 now. Yeah, 4 more yards, and the Redskins pretty much have the win locked. But Pittsburgh still has 2 more timeouts, so a little bit more of a chance. Stop them right at the line. So Pittsburgh might have a shot at the comeback here. We'll see. On this right here, 3rd and 4, this is for the game right here. If the Redskins get this right here, right now, they will win this game 44-38. But they get stopped and plugged. Minute 11 left for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Minute 10 now for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get a punt, return, and a drive. But they have no timeouts. They have no safety nets in that regard. And the Redskins have decent territory to actually punt from, thanks to that touchback. So, but pretty bad punt, honestly. Not the greatest punt I've ever seen. So it's in about the 38, 39 territory in Steelers. So they have to go for some big stuff out of bounds. They can't go for really big methodical runs anymore. They have to go for something big here, which intercepted once again. Looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers threw it all away right here at the end. The final score will be 44-38, Washington Redskins. Man, good to see the Washington Redskins doing something, though. I will say that. Casey Hampton. It's not necessarily the Hamptons, but welcome to the Washington Redskins. A decent upgrade from D-tackle, about 16-point upgrade, so pretty good there. The tight end goes from a 66 to a 71, and their left end from a 74 to 79. By the way, just missed the song, but like, dude, Madden 2004's got some of the best songs in Madden I've heard, and some of the worst. So, not the worst, but there's not my taste. I got a lot of low Maddens and a lot of low Madden soundtrack, and then a high Madden soundtrack bar. I don't know, it's somewhere in the middle right now. Beside the point, maybe it's a tier list for another day. Beside the point, we also have to show the Redskins are claiming their lands. I feel like there's an obvious joke there. We're just gonna roll on. But the Redskins did claim some territory and looking like a force to be reckoned with. So we'll see how they stack up to the rest of the competition as the time goes on. But we have to say goodbye to the Pittsburgh Steelers on our little chart here. Now they aren't yellow, which throws me off because the Colts are currently yellow on this little bar thing. So that's not quite nice for me. So bye Pittsburgh Steelers from your light blue apparently. I didn't make the chart. I just kind of roll with the chart, whatever they give me. But the Miami Dolphins are up next. They do control all of Florida right now. So we'll see kind of what angle they're going to be kind of attacking from here. Or they could just expand. They have one option to expand or one option to attack, basically. So we'll see which they opt for here today. They go directly south, which is not a valid option, Miami. Thank you very much. We have to actually have you plunder, you know, kind of like the Buccaneers, even though you're the Dolphins, I guess. I don't know. Sure, go with it. Guys, you gotta fight. You gotta do something. You gotta do something productive. Man, the Miami Dolphins do not want to do anything but just go and leave, which that's not even gonna do, I don't think. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much just right. Like, I need something north or like kind of northwest-ish. Gosh, dang Miami. This is not a valid option. You can't go invade Cuba. Now, that might be a valid option. As you see, it's easily a valid option and easily going right into the Atlanta Falcons, who we have yet to see from here today. We actually haven't seen 12 teams so far, so this marks it down to 11 for us now, I believe, so that's pretty cool. Also, by the way, just a note from the last game, too. The total interceptions from that game was 7, so, like, this game is really not afraid of throwing interceptions. Oh, yeah, already had, like, teams throw 9 and 11 or whatever, but, man, it's still insane to me how much Madden 2004 loves interception. Either way, time to go into this game. You know, this matchup isn't quite over. I thought pretty much Atlanta was done for, but then they got a really big playoff, failed an onside kick, but they still have 30 seconds to march down the field and get a touchdown and go take this to overtime, which doesn't look like they will because they have no timeouts left. They use it all trying to stop Miami, which they successfully did, but 20 seconds left on the clock and they spike it. Don't know if that really was the correct move there. I mean, I guess they only have a couple plays anyway, but Atlanta has to make some big moves here really quick and either get one big play in and spike it or get out of bounds or something, because Atlanta's kind of desperate for some time here, but they're going down the field. They have to, they still have one more timeout. I miscounted. It's 14 seconds left. They are still in this game. 14 seconds left. Oh my gosh. But man, that little shutdown pass, man. Well, they're going to spike it and maybe get 2 plays off, 1 play off. Oh, this looks like a 1 player. I mean, it makes sense. They're 3rd and 5 now. They got to go for the end zone or something really quick out of bounds. But we'll see what they go for here. 5 seconds left. Otherwise, Miami's going to easily take this. A penalty. Was that on the Dolphins? False start. No, it was on the offense. All right, well, 3rd and 10 now, I guess, for them. So makes it a little bit, you know, harder. But, I mean, they really can't go for a first down here anyway. They don't really have the time for it. So, you know, we'll see what they can do. Can they hit the end zone? End zone to take this to overtime would be insane right now for Atlanta. Staying in this game, but they find the end zone. 1 second remaining. Oh my god, they are going into overtime with Miami. Oh my lord, the first overtime of Madden 2004 and the second overtime of NFL Imperialism in general. Really cool to see. I was about to say, please let the extra point be good because I'm actually curious, but I think we're going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Miami gets the ball first. I'm going to just go ahead and play the whole overtime here for you all. I did have it on even more speed than I did even before. That way it's kind of going quicker and quicker because, remember, in these old games, touchdown wins the game. Field goal just basically puts your opponent in the hot seat. So we'll see what they do here. Miami lining up, and we'll see if they're able to kind of capitalize on this and kind of move forward quite nicely. But they're going to run the ball here, not really get many gains from the run game here from Miami right now. So they really need to get a big pass down the field or, you know, at least convert on 3rd and 10. So, but they're burning out some overtime clock here, but they do get in bounds. It looks like that guy did say in bounds. Obviously, they're going very quick here because I don't want to waste too much of your time. But Miami And again, that run game is just not getting going here. Atlanta is doing really, really well here at stopping that run game. But Miami's still lining up and still going for those big plays. Getting in the field goal range is at least the semi-good quest for them to do. But preferably find that touchdown and just win the game. That's really what they want to do here. 6 minutes left, 6.5 minutes left, really. But it's 4th down. Miami will elect the punt. That punt, sorry, I had to kind of make sure I was checking something real quick too between punts. But Atlanta pretty much answers about to the 38, 39, their own territory. 38 looks like. So Atlanta, good little pass though. They're electing to go for more of the pass game here on this drive here. But 2nd and 2, so they have a little bit of a good shot at getting a good first down here. But it looks like the quarterback elected to scramble it, and I actually don't remember who the quarterback here was. This bad thing about older games and doing these in multiple takes, I forget a lot of these quarterbacks. So unless it's somebody really notable, and I know, oh, Michael Vick. Oh my gosh, it's Atlanta Falcons 2004. Hold up, yeah, no wonder he's running it. Like a cheat code back in the day. Wow, it clicked. I was like, oh wait, what the heck? Beside the point. But is that a fumble? Is that a fumble recovery by the Dolphins? I was just talking about how I almost dug myself into a hole about not remember Michael Vick, but probably it's a good thing. But no, it looks like Atlanta did recover it. Actually, it's probably a good thing I don't remember Michael Vick, or didn't remember Michael Vick there. He's left-handed? What? All right, a lot happened in my brain just then because Michael Vick threw an interception. But Michael Vick's also left-handed? Why did I never do this? What the heck? Okay, well, good for Michael Vick, I guess. But anyway, Miami has the ball. And currently, now that the drive has been over for both teams, the field goal wins the game. So all Miami has to do is get in the field goal range and they win the game. Atlanta had a chance there, but they threw an interception instead. So, that's kind of a bad thing for them. But now they're at midfield, so about 20 more yards basically put them in about field goal range. Obviously, they want a little bit closer to make it really guaranteed. But they honestly don't have to get too much more. 2 more nice little first downs. Miami's run game is still getting stopped up a little bit here, though. So I don't know if that's really going to work for them in the long term. But we only have 3.5 minutes left, basically in overtime, too. So one of these teams does need to do something. I'm not too sure if this goes into double overtime here. I haven't had to find out. These Maddens on play now do elect to find a winner. But Miami, it looks like they're going to have to punt. They're going to be deep into Atlanta territory, though. So Royals is going to do that here. So that will be good. Here, I'll keep on. Oh, there's a fake! There's a fake, but he fumbled it! There's a fake, and Royals about to pass it, but he fumbled it. So Atlanta is basically already in Miami territory, but it's very close to a field goal already. I'm glad I almost stopped the recording here just to wait for the punt, but I'm glad I didn't. They elected to fake it, but it did not work out for Miami there. So now Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons actually have a shot here at doing something. But it looks like with those 2 downs right there, they are going to be struggling here, because they have to convert right here, right now, if they want to actually capitalize on this really big field advantage they had. But, was that completed? Oh, I didn't say 4th down, so it was completed. They are now within, like, field goal territory. And just getting extra yards now is a big deal for them, just to make it easier on their field goal, on their kicker for the field goal. So this is really awesome. Atlanta might be having an upset against Miami here now. A little bit of a loss, though, there. So that kind of is a sucky part of it. But they are going to like to go pass. But they don't need it. They get a touchdown anyway. Game is over, 37-31. Atlanta has now upset the Dolphins. I don't know if it's really an upset, but the Dolphins have been doing really well. So, heck yes. Hot Atlanta is in the building. And, man, look at Michael Vick's scores there, by the way. Again, didn't know he's left-handed. Kind of cool. With that, the Falcons pick up Junior Seau to add to that nice defensive line, along with an upgrade to their fullback from a 65 to a 70, their right guard from a 73 to a 78. And I'd say they're gaining some nice little territory down here. The Falcons have been kind of making a little bit of a splash here against the Dolphins, no pun intended, with that matchup. And after their less than stellar performance in NFL Imperialism 2003, I think they're looking to make a bigger impact here. And with this map game, it at least shows out a little bit. So with that, we move on, and we get rid of the Miami Dolphins. That is a away team loss, which we have seen very rarely in this NFL Imperialism so far. So nice for the Falcons actually get a home win here. But now we have my fan favorite here, the Denver Broncos here spinning away. We're gonna see exactly where they go, more southwestish. So where's that gonna take them? That is gonna take them pretty much out of bounds. I'm gonna just check it with the Chargers, make sure. I don't think that lines up, but I'm just gonna make sure. Yeah, again, Denver didn't go anywhere but the ocean or Mexico or whatever that would be. But they're going pretty much directly north, which will be something here. Let me actually expand this. And it will be an expansion here today. So Denver Broncos, they've been expanding a lot lately. They only had one matchup against Arizona Cardinals, but they will be expanding again. I take it pretty much from like right here in the neck. So it'll go pretty much straight north almost. I mean, that was a straight shot. A little bit to the west, but I mean, I guess pretty much dead on. And with that, the Denver Broncos do take Wyoming, which I may or may not have been fully confident before that was Wyoming, and that's why I didn't say it in the previous take. Beside the point, the Denver Broncos do upgrade some players. Their left tackle from a 76 to an 81, their D tackle 2 from a 75 to an 80, and the free safety from a 74 to a 79, marking some pretty nice little upgrades. Again, Denver's been making some steady upgrades and being conservative this matchup, which is smart. We'll see how far it really gets them. But either way, that does leave us where we do have to get a matchup of some sort. So Denver Broncos, thank you for participating in this round. But let's find out who's next. Kansas City Chiefs, the division rival, or a division rival, I should really more so say. And they're going directly south pretty much here, which is going to lead to a Saints versus Chiefs game, I believe. I'm going to check that to be 100% sure. But give me 1 second. With that, it's definitely going directly south to the Saints here. So Kansas City going to take the fight to the Saints. Kansas City with a historical advantage with the away team really winning in the NFL Imperialism in 2004 so far. But the matchup does look fairly even across the board, so we'll see what really happens. I'll see y'all in the game. And well, I was hoping to get one final drive of Kansas City, possibly making a move there, but unfortunately, Kansas City failed really early into the drive, 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, and then the Saints just kept on running the ball, keep on pummeling Chiefs down up until the time was out and the timeouts were out. So, final score 24-23. The Chiefs are packing up and going home. The Saints are claiming some nice little territory. Territory they should be, kind of nice and cozy with now. Weirdly enough, this is kind of an oddly satisfying territory for the Saints. I don't know why. I just find it very satisfying. Oh well. You know what else I find very satisfying? I find Tony Gonzalez, the Saints, pretty satisfying because the Saints are looking pretty nice now. Tony Gonzalez. Love it. Love it. They also had a little bit of an upgrade from their left end from a 79 to an 84, and they had a middle linebacker upgrade from an 80 to an 85. There's a bunch of different 80s on this team. I think there was some in the secondary, fullback, whatever. I decided that after looking at the team, they looked like they needed more help on the line, so I decided, all right, we'll give the middle linebacker. Not that big of a deal, but just want to let you know that there was a bunch of 80s on the team. Either way, man, the Saints looking kind of nice at this point, but they did eliminate the Chiefs again from another home victory, which is nice to see here. Home victory kind of stacking up some more, showing, hey, by the way, we do give some advantage of some sort of existence. Either way, Dallas Cowboys are up next here, and we're going to see what their plan of attack is. They're more like southwest. I'm pretty sure it's out of bounds, but it may clip the Broncos. Let me check here for you. It does barely miss them. So Dallas will get to respin and take a different plan of attack, and this will be going pretty much straight at the Texans here. So we have a battle for Texas here, and this will be quite interesting here. Just a nice little history lesson here for NFL Imperialism. These two teams have never faced off. Granted, I guess it's only been one, the second game, so I mean, it's kind of nice in that regard. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys and Texans avoided each other, even though they're right next to each other. And Texans pretty much could only go there, but they actually fought the Saints and the Titans last time, while the Cowboys just kind of lingered around for a little bit. So I forgot exactly who the Cowboys faced, but either way, we're going to see who wins the first ever Texas battle. Here we are with a climactic drive here for the Dallas Cowboys. Down 3 against Houston, 27-30. 2-minute warning just happened. One drive to win it all. But look at that. We actually are not putting Dallas in the hot seat now, because now Houston is in the hot seat, because once Dallas kicks this extra point, it will be a 4-point game, meaning Houston will have a minute 40 to drive down and get a touchdown for the win. Field goal will do no good. So 34-30, Houston, who have, again, it's a new franchise. The second game they've ever been in, second year they would have ever had a roster. They have to do something here. David Carr still under center in terms of the QB style here. Not many weapons, but Andre Johnson is a rookie this year, so hopefully maybe something can go with that. Either way, Houston, if they want to stay in the NFL Imperialism this year, they need to get a touchdown. Minute and a half left, so they can take a little bit of time. But when they throw an interception and make this game unwinnable, pretty much, I mean, there's a world where they can go down, score real quick, and then onside kick it for another score or something. But it's very unlikely at this point with an 11-point game. Likely the final score will be 41-30. Fully honest with you, kind of zoned out after I recorded that, or at least voiced over that last portion. Cowboys got another touchdown in the middle of that, so the final score is actually 48-30. Cowboys win still, but thought I'd at least acknowledge it. Lots to comment on here. Number one, Cowboys, nice little territory. Again, you know, Cowboys and Saints kind of have some like satisfyingly looking good territories. Beside the point, maybe personal bias here. I don't know why I said personal bias, but personal preference. That's the word we're going for here today. That's the word of the day, personal preference. Preference. Beside the point, they add Aaron Glenn for a plus 12 upgrade at corner, as well as an upgrade to their left end. No, sorry, their right guard from a 71 to a 76, and a very, very special occasion here for NFL Imperialism. We have a very first ever QB upgrade from a 73 to a 78. Chad Hutchinson has upgraded himself a little bit. So 1 year into the league, but now he's just improving a little bit more, which will help the Cowboys under center a little bit more. So nice to see overall from this Cowboys team. We do have to eliminate the Texans from contention here at the very top. They had a valiant effort, but at the end they just kind of blew it all, I'd say. So, oh well. Now let's see who we can see. We see the Ravens here, who we have not yet seen from, I believe. We have not yet seen from them at all. They're right by the Redskins, who have been performing pretty well, but they're going to go more northeast. So we'll see where that kind of lands them. That might be an expansion, or it could be against the Eagles. So we have to do a little bit of investigating based on where that B is, basically, of the Ravens. So give me 1 second. One of the closer quick calls I've had to make, because when you expand, you get to the pixels, and it kind of almost passes in that little black area right above them here, kind of bordering both the expansion and the Eagles. Luckily, it didn't. It kind of just skipped by, like, right here on this border and hit the Eagles. So we do have a Ravens at Eagles game, Battle of the Flighting Birds. The Flighting Birds. Man, let's clip that one, why don't we? Either way, though, Ravens will go to Eagles, but in cases where we do kind of get to this little border area, I'll kind of have to figure that out in the future. But that's not a me problem now, it's a me problem later. So, let's get to the matchup. Here we are with the neck-and-neck game in the fourth quarter, 3.5 minutes left roughly. Eagles have the ball, is tied up 24-24, so this is anybody's ball game here. Two very good teams, close teams that we have not yet seen in NFL Imperialism Madden 2004, clarification there. So we'll see the Eagles have to march down, get these first downs, and get in the field goal range they want to win. But it's 3rd and 11, hard conversion here. They might give Baltimore a chance here. But yeah, and they will end up punting, giving the Baltimore Ravens a chance to just get in the field goal range and kill out the time. That's all the Ravens will have to do to win this game, basically. 2.5 minutes left. So I'm pretty sure both teams have all their timeouts as well as 2-minute warning. So plenty of time still in this game for either team to make a big impact. But the Ravens start off very well, pretty much midfield. And with one already, oh, that was an incomplete pass. I thought it was a completed pass, but no, it's an interception. And the Eagles just basically are almost giving this away to the Ravens, or or taking this game away from the Ravens, is what I should say. With that interception, they are now easily in field goal range, but they're still choosing to pass it. Very risky play here, but it could pay off for them if they just get that first down and just hammer it home a little bit. If they're smart, they'll wait out for the 2-minute warning, but no, they just want to run the ball and score as quickly as possible. I guess giving the Ravens plenty of time on the clock. I don't know if that's a strategy here or if it's the AI just being stupid. You know, personally, I just, kill out the clock a little bit. But 2 minutes left on the clock. Eagles is probably going to, they're going to pass it. They end up passing it very short, so it was caught, so the time is going to run. No timeouts called yet, which, we'll see. 4th down, though, from the Eagles, so all that effort, and they ended up already getting a 4th down anyway. So Ravens did call timeout to conserve as much as they could. Kick is good. Ravens now have 1 minute and 41 seconds precisely, to get within field goal range for overtime or just score a touchdown to take the lead. This is going to be a very, very intense one here for the Ravens. Really taking this away will be really intense for them. We're going to slow down the clock a little bit. We had it like 300, 400%, but we're going to take 200% now. Incomplete pass, still 1.5 minutes left, so all they need to do is convert and really get down that field. Again, they need to get in field goal range to stay in this game, but a touchdown will win it, or at least give them a very high chance to, depending. But instead, another interception thrown by the Ravens, pretty much solidifying their fate. 2 more timeouts from them, I believe. So this is going to be really, really close for the Ravens, but I believe there's not enough time left on the clock for them to do much. And at the very least, they need to stop them and put them into basically hold them to a field goal. But the Eagles, all they got to do is run the clock down. 1.5 minutes left. Timeout called, of course. A couple yards gained, probably just 2 or 3. No, 4. Wow, look at that. I was wrong all around. No big surprise there. Either way, Eagles lining up again. Throw the ball, actually kind of pitch it. And no timeout was called, looks like. They're just going to let the clock die down. Maybe keep the Ravens, let them use it at this last one. So it'll be a little under 1 minute left at this rate. So Eagles probably going to end up passing it. Or if they're just going to count the clock. I don't know. Let's find out here. So 1 minute left. running the ball. Almost get all 8 yards, but not quite. Baltimore does call a timeout with a minute left. They're going to kick a field goal, return the kick, and then the Ravens actually will have a minute to do something here. Probably a big opportunity for them to really stay in this game. They really blew it with those couple of interceptions there at the end, but now they are put in a predicament where they cannot get a field goal. They must score a touchdown to win this game. It's either win the game here now or lose the game to the Eagles, or lose the game to the Eagles before it's all said and done. Kickoff, good return. Nope, is like the 19 basically for the Ravens here. They have to do way better in the passing game because they will not have a run game here with no timeouts. It's a really risky play for them to really get going. So let's see what they do here. Ravens snap the ball, take it back, boom, first down. They have to go really quickly though. No huddles, galore. They're gonna just spike it and move on. Or do you just spike it and get a proper play going instead of just audibling one out on the go? 46 seconds remaining. Second and 10, of course. Again, 30-24 currently. They are not quite at midfield, and they need to get down real quickly. But an incomplete pass isn't the worst thing. Gets them, time to really, analyze their situation, what they can do and what they cannot do here. But they're lining back up, 3rd and 10. 43 seconds remaining on the clock. Let's see what they opt to do here. Longer play or middle play, slants. What are they going to go for here? Drop back, throw it, was hit when he threw. So 4th down, they have to convert this at the very least to stay in this game. They cannot afford to not convert this. 39 seconds left on the clock with no timeouts. Pretty much all said and done. Everything's over with the crying at that point. But let's see if they can convert right here. Drop back, turnover on downs. Game is over. 30-24 is the final score. Eagles take it home and taking away the Ravens territory. When I say the Eagles got dang better, I'd say they got dang better because Brian Dawkins and Ray Lewis are now on the same team. 27-point upgrade to the starting middle linebacker for the Eagles, and Ray Lewis is a nice addition, and they have some high 90s on this team, and all their starters are now in the 80s with their punter going from 79 to 84, and the wide receiver 2 going from a 79 to 84, now actually becoming wide receiver 1, fun fact. So, wow, the Eagles, just with that one game win, absolutely puts them really far ahead. And on the map wise, they only gained a little bit of territory, of course, but it was an important piece of territory because again it got them some important key pieces there in terms of middle linebacker and some upgrades that they could crucially need. So nice seeing the Eagles doing pretty well here. So now we have to find out what team is next though here to find out what team's going to next take that next step up. We haven't seen 7 teams so far: the Bears, the Bengals, the Chargers, Jets, Patriots, Raiders, and Rams. So all those teams have not done anything yet, but Dallas Cowboys, we've seen them a couple times this video. One expansion and one game, of course, and they're pretty much going almost about northeast-ish. So we're going to see exactly what their plan is here. Are they going to attack or are they just going to expand? It looks pretty close, but I think they're just going to expand because it's going to be basically boom. But I'm going to check real quick, but I believe it's just an expansion. So it was pretty easily expansion, not too big of a deal there. But what a pretty big deal is, Dan Campbell. I forgot that he was in these. He played this early on. Obviously it makes sense. I just didn't think about it, but it's kind of cool because he actually got an upgrade here. Tight end went from a 75 to an 80, of course. So good for Dan Campbell. Like seeing you succeed. The right end from a 74 to a 79, and D tackle from a 75 to an 80. Pretty good team overall. They still have some low end points they need to kind of fill up the gaps from. Cowboys still looking up like they're making some steady progress here. So pretty nice to see. Either way, again, we have to spin to find another team. Dallas Cowboys got their little bit upgrade going, but we have to find another team. Is it going to be Broncos or Saints? We've seen both these teams before, but it's going to be the Denver Broncos. Pretty much, they have still some expansions left they could really go for, but they're going to go more southeast, which I think is away from their expansions, and actually straight into a matchup. They saw the Cowboys improve, and they're like, we're going to stop that before it gets too out of control. It's actually going to be for a good bit of territory. The Broncos going to the Cowboys. Kind of a heavy set matchup, a pretty even team, I'd say. So pretty awesome. It's kind of like the Broncos taking the fights to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are riding them so long. They've been riding you guys get the analogy. Beside the point, whatever. Well, Dallas is trying to do something here, but as you just saw on screen, an interception pretty much steals this game away. 47-24. Denver has absolutely destroyed Dallas. Man, no surprise to me too, of course, because the Broncos are the best team in the NFL, of course. But yeah, unfortunately, it will seem that the Cowboys are going to be packing up and going home early. The Broncos are sending them on away, and Broncos are just going to get even better and better and honestly have the biggest landmass of this whole NFL imperialism. I promise, guys, it's not rigged. I promise. First game, hands up in the air, hands clean. I feel good about it because I am clear of conscience. In all seriousness, no. Welcome Larry Allen to the Denver Broncos here at 98 overall with about 21 overall upgrade from their previous left guard, and also the strong safety and right end went from a 78 to an 83. So the Broncos are getting really, really good, or at least upgrading some of those lower end players. Still some holes here and there they need to fill, but maybe with some time they can fill it. But right now they have some large territory, vast, big territory landmass wise, which makes them a bigger target, honestly, for the teams around them. Still a lot of expansion they can do around them, though, up in the north end. Really nothing there. Really just east and a sliver of the west. So Broncos are in a good state, but a lot of other teams are getting really good, really fast, and the Broncos are just making themselves a bigger target. But with that said, we got to move forward anyway and got to eliminate the Dallas Cowboys here from contention on this wheel. Wherever they are, boom, bada bing. We're going to spin the wheel now, see who the next team is up for this round. Round 16, I believe we're almost halfway there. Speaking of one of the teams that may want to take a crack at the Broncos, the New Orleans Saints, who are also honestly quite well themselves, a little bit more northwest. But, ooh, it's going to be interesting if it's just going to go straight up here to Iowa. Let's check it real quick. And just like that, the Saints are now upgraded. It's 3 of their players from an 80 to an 85, and that's a cornerback, a strong safety, and a left outside linebacker. Saints again are looking really good with some key expansions and just playing to their own strengths and playing up to what they need to, and having this weird little sliver over here thanks to the winning against the Chiefs and now opening up all the way up here to Iowa. Is kind of a nice little addition for the Saints here. So a nice little category here, but pretty much splitting the difference here, making the whole eastern border of the Broncos connect them. So 2 juggernauts could be facing off here pretty soon if one of them lands on them. But that was only an expansion. We have something else to really do. Again, we have to find a team that's willing to go to battle right here, right now, to face off against somebody, and a team that we have not seen anything from, the New York Jets. I wonder what they're going to do here today. They can face off against a couple teams here, or they can go kind of east, which actually probably will lead to an expansion. Actually, will just be a nice little expansion to upgrade some of their team before they go into heat of battle. Ladies and gentlemen, I made a mistake here. I did decide to check. Because, well, actually, it's a little bit closer than I wanted to, because I thought, okay, well, we'll just check to make sure that I'm right. And I'm afraid not. Thanks to my mechanical mechanism that accurately tells me how these angles go without scratching my screen totally, the Jets barely clipped the Giants' territory, meaning that we're going to have a really early battle for New York here with the Jets going to the Giants. Interesting little matchup here. We'll see how it turns out for the Jets here. Well, this could not have been a bigger blowout. The New York Jets absolutely came in and destroyed the New York Giants, and it wasn't even really close. Almost double a 34 score. That's kind of crazy. The Giants did win their last outing from what I remember from Madden 2003, so this is the Jets' way of saying, hey, go fuck yourself. This is our revenge. So, and nice, we got a single game record for interceptions from a player. Very, very appropriate. But I guess we're going to move on, and the Jets are now going to increase their land capacity and the style of their players. The style of their players, the quality of their players. Let's go with that. Very little surprise, one of the best players on the Giants is heading to, staying in New York, but moving to a different team in the Jets. Michael Strahan, welcome to the Jets. As well as Jets, you have gained some nice little territory and won the Battle of New York, very good accomplishment for you here today. So good for them. Good little upgrades too. They got a fullback from a 72 to a 77 and the free safety from a 69 to a 74. Nice little upgrades, kind of helping the Jets get a little bit better. And they're in a good position because there's other teams around them that are more in their structural area. While there's some juggernauts out west, and the Denver Broncos, the Saints, you can even say the Tennessee Titans are kind of picking up steam. Packers have a really good roster. Falcons as well. So they're kind of away from everything a little bit. Eagles are really good and Redskins are really good, but maybe a little bit more pale in comparison to some of those bigger teams out in the middle of the map so far. But either way, the Giants we have to say goodbye to on this little wheel because they are no longer eligible teams. And with that, actually brings up our last 16 teams. So we have 16 teams left. We're halfway there. And 6 teams we have not seen from yet. Bears, Bengals, Chargers, Patriots, Raiders, and Rams. So this is the current state of the map halfway through. So let's see who we spun here for the beginning of the second half. And that's the Rams. So we haven't seen from them yet. and they have a lot of dangerous territory around them that they could really go see. But they're going to go more northwest and decide to do something here, and that's pretty much almost without a shadow of a doubt towards the Saints. Could kind of clip the Bears here, but I think it's pretty much sharp west enough to basically say the Rams are going to take on one of the bigger juggernauts and finally make, you know, a nice little even proportion for this little map landmass area. So we have a matchup we have to go into. The Rams will be attacking the New Orleans Saints. Wow, you know, back in 2004 is brutal sometimes. 58-24. These scores are getting outrageous, man. Like, it's so one-sided here. St. Louis came in and was like, nah, we're going to freaking dominate this. Look, the fair catch, they didn't give them anything. It's over. Game is over. 58-24. The Saints, who are actually doing really good, just got dominated by a team who we haven't even seen from. Granted, the Rams have a pretty decent roster in this game. A little bit of a step down from Madden 2003, but man, they might just already rocket themselves back up in that little contention spot to be a real forefronter here in this matchup. Either way, let's go see what people are getting upgraded and who's getting traded to the Rams. Welcome Tony Gonzalez. You know, he's kind of going off to that little middle, like more like, you know, middle area from Kansas City to New Orleans to the St. Louis Rams. So basically staying in that little middle part of the United States right there. So Tony Gonzalez is really tripping around the world right now, but he was a 27-point upgrade to the second tight end, or the first tight end on the Rams. So nice little upgrade for the Rams, as well as the left outside linebacker going from a 71 to a 76, and the fullback going from a 68 to a 73. So some much needed little holes, but honestly the roster's a little bit on the lower side more than I thought, and especially from a jump down from the previous game, even with Kurt Warner's, you know, kind of overall downgrade here. So as you see, I think he was a 96 or 97 in the previous game. Now he's 91, so it's kind of a little bit of a drop off for him. So a little bit unfortunate, but still the Rams are a nice little roster spot. And honestly, I kind of like this. It's almost more satisfying than the Saints, because almost like a little fitting area here, almost like right down the middle. And the Rams just kind of fit right there. Of course, we have some big juggernauts about to meet if this little South Dakota patch just, you know, goes away from one of these three teams. But nice little area we have here. And obviously the Rams gain the territory and gain the pride from it all. But we do have to find another team. And that soundtrack's really loud. Also have to eliminate the, the Saints. The Saints. But for now, the 49ers are the ones that are going there. But let's find the Saints real quick. Remove them. Boom, bada bing. All right, but the 49ers were the team that they landed on. So let's see what they do. I think they have a lot of expansions they could do southeast. So, yeah, it's going to be an expansion of some sort. I'll show you the state here in a second. Well, it was Nevada. It was actually quite easily into Nevada. There was really no way out of it. So they actually claimed Las Vegas before the new Vegas Raiders, of course. They're Oakland right now for any clarifications for any of this again. But yes, so 49ers expands in Nevada. And they also get a couple of nice little upgrades. Tight end, Eric Johnson goes from a 75 to an 80. Their punter goes from a 73 to a 78. And their left guard also goes from a 73 to a 78. So nice little upgrades overall for the 49ers. Getting some overalls, you know, kind of boosted for them is kind of nice. So we'll see how that works out for them in the long term. Either way, though, we do have to spin again because we do have to find a actual matchup for this round, of course. And it's going to look like the Atlanta Falcons. We haven't seen them in a hot minute, but they are back again, and they're actually a pretty good force to reckon with. Pretty much west, a little bit more to the south, though. So we have to scroll over. And actually, I do think that's going to expand here. I'll check here in a second for you. Had to check to make sure, but it was clearly into Alabama. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, wherever I put my little cursor thing in the middle of Falcons like a jagged logo, so I just want to make sure the middle of it wasn't like further down than I would say, but it's basically at the core of the wing, so it easily hit Alabama. Either way, also left some upgrades here. So the Falcons run 2 middle linebackers on defense, so their middle linebacker 2 got from an upgrade from a 76 to an 81, strong safety from a 76 to an 81, and the fullback from a 70 to a 75. So nice little upgrades here for the Falcons here. And a little bit of expansion. Again, getting more landmass and kind of hopefully going to get up there numbers-wise with some of the other teams on the board. Either way, it looks like we're going to see the Chargers. We haven't seen the Chargers all video, so that's really cool. Let's see what they decide to do. They can have a couple different matchups. 49ers, Raiders. I think that's kind of going out of bounds. Yeah, it's going out of bounds for them. So they can even take the Broncos, I believe. Raiders, by the way, will be it's either Raiders or Broncos. They're going to have a divisional matchup here. Again, they have to go. Oh, they can face the 49ers too. So they got a few different options here. That's going to be really damn close, either to the 49ers or the Broncos. I believe it's going to hit the 49ers, but I'm just going to make sure and check. And I can tell you with full confidence the Chargers did land on the 49ers. So a team that just recently got upgraded versus a team that has not been seeing this whole video. Chargers are our defending champions, though, so they are coming out here. They have high expectations for this game here. We'll see what they can step up. Right now, overall wise, they're at a little bit of a disadvantage, but knowing what the Chargers have done in the past, let's see what they can do. And here we are, San Francisco 49ers are 1 score down, 7 points down, 38 seconds to go, and they were down two touchdowns here a minute ago, and they just made a big play that made me actually catch attention, like, oh, may I actually be able to do it? And nice little scramble there, but I believe they're completely out of timeouts. 30 seconds remaining. They're going to have to spike this because, you know, they can't go for a field goal. They have to win this game with a touchdown. No other option here for the 49ers. So 25 seconds remaining, around the 35-yard line into San Diego territory. Not the worst place to be. Good pass down the field or two gets them right into prime position. San Diego does call a timeout with their injured player, Rayleigh Johnson. Might hurt them a little bit. We'll see what the 49ers can do here, though. Because San Diego, this is a big moment for them. If they can hold them here, they win the game. Otherwise, the San Francisco 49ers and San Diego Chargers will be going into overtime. And we'd love to see our overtime games. Was caught down the middle. 18 seconds remaining. They can spike it off real quick. Everybody's got to get up and, get back in position. 12 seconds. Offsides, though, the Chargers player did not get onto the side fast enough, so they do get a little bit extra yardage from doing that. So it's basically a free spike and, extra yardage. Around the, 12, 13-yard mark, 10 seconds remaining, but it was intercepted. The Chargers just solidified themselves further on in this NFL Imperialism matchup. Really awesome to see. San Diego Chargers are defending champs, so it's cool to see our defending champs are not just getting knocked off, They can have their crown, they're going to wear it, but, they also want to, kick some ass a little bit. Now, I don't know why they're running it, because I think all the timeouts from the 49ers are done, but 2 seconds, 1 second, 24-17, a very respectable score, not like a big run-up number, and I don't think there was many interceptions this game, so I like seeing this normal-ass game, Madden 2004 has shown that it's not typically normal, so, oh well. Let's get to the map. And with that, the San Diego Chargers are expanding the territory, completely encompassing the current Oakland Raiders. So Oakland really only has one matchup they can really do, and they're starting to look more and more like they were last in Madden 2003. So is this a sign for things to come? Aside from like a little Broncos little territory and the Raiders being fully encompassed, the Chargers have a lot of room for expansion and improvement, but not that they need much improvement anyway. Because honestly, Terrell Owens is a big improvement from a 77 to a 99 overall for your wide receivers. And with Drew Brees and Terrell Owens, as well as David Boston, this offense for the Chargers is going to look really, really explosive. So we'll see what they can do on the field. Plus, along with that, the Chargers got a upgrade to their kicker from a 71 to 76 and a right outside linebacker from a 70 to 75. So, again, Chargers are looking very solid. They did last time, too. So we'll see what they're really capable of. But with that, of course, we have to remove our poor old San Francisco 49ers, who did not last as long as they did last time. So salute to them. Goodbye. Thank you for your participation. And we have the St. Louis Rams here. Of course, after the big win against the New Orleans Saints not too long ago, they are now back up to the drawing board. And they actually will have a matchup. I believe it's going to be the Titans. Well, to be honest, clear as day, the Rams are attacking the Titans and really looking for a rematch after the Titans took them out of the NFL Madden 2003 Imperialism. So this nice little rematch to see that, we really don't always get to see. Kurt Warner going to Tennessee. We'll see what happens here. Because on paper, both these teams, looks like Tennessee, they both have their strengths and weaknesses. The Rams have an offensive advantage, while the Tennessee Titans have a good defense. So the overalls match up perfectly. So let's get right into this game. Well, it happened once, it'll happen again. Tennessee just beat the Rams once again with this matchup. St. Louis actually kicked the onside kick and recovered it, but immediately threw an interception. Not like it would do much good because they're down by a decent margin at this point, but they did cut it down a decent bit since the last time I really looked at it and checked it. But either way, Tennessee easily won this matchup, 54-39 final score. St. Louis, sorry, you're packing your bags. Kurt Warner, man, love you, bro, but adios. Well, no surprise here, but Tony Gonzalez is moving to yet another team. This time, he's moving to nice little Tennessee. And a couple upgrades did happen from a fullback from a 78 to an 83, and a wide receiver 2 from a 79 to an 84. Full transparency here, there was a tie between the tight end and a wide receiver in terms of the upgrade. I forgot exactly. I think it was a 13. I think both of them were a 13-point upgrade. Tony Gonzalez was the higher rated player. It looked like the O-line was more needed help. Tight ends are typically better overall, just like positions to have. And the wide receivers are going to get upgraded anyway because the defensive line was so good. So it was kind of weird. I decided to go tight end. And so as a result, one of the lowest rated players was the wide receiver, who was tied with the left outside linebacker. And I ended up not going the wide receiver because of the defensive line needed help. I mixed that up there for a second. But so it's kind of full transparency there. I decided that the tight end was kind of a weapon anyway, and kind of on the O-line, did not utilize as much. But it shouldn't really hurt the simulation too much anyway. But I want to be transparent with you guys. But beside the point, Tennessee is claiming nice little territory here, kind of taking over the Saints, then the Rams territory now. So now it's got that little like weird little like T, like horizontal T or whatever. So pretty cool there. We have a couple of the juggernauts now coming together here. Chargers on landmass, Packers. Haven't seen them in a while. Broncos, Titans, Falcons. And I failed to mention that actually before that matchup, we were at our currently last 14, so like our playoff kind of spot. But with the Rams departure now makes it 13. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. And we still haven't seen a couple of these teams: the Bears, the Bengals, the Patriots, and the Raiders, all still kind of hiding out where they really want to. You know, a lot of them are kind of surrounded. Raiders kind of surrounded by the Chargers here. Bengals surrounded by some good teams. Patriots kind of in a world of their own unless they decide to attack the Jets. And that's about it. And the Bears, yeah, they're kind of surrounded by a couple good teams as well. So interesting little state there. But we still have to roll once again. The 13 teams are left, and we're going to see who wants to step up to the plate next. And New York Jets, speaking of which, we just mentioned them about the Patriots. Possibly they want to go attack the Patriots, or they want to kind of go away from them. Northeast actually might take them straight to the Patriots. No, I think it's going to take them straight to expansion. So give me 1 second, and I'll expand it. Nice little upgrades for the Jets, who did capture Vermont and did confirm it just to be sure, but it was pretty easily into the Vermont area. They upgraded their free safety from a 74 to a 79, their strong safety from a 76 to an 81, and their kicker from a 72 to a 77. So kind of nice little upgrades overall for the Jets here. Again, just kind of staying secluded, getting their overalls up. That's what we like to see. Of course, Jets right here. Make sure. Y'all can actually see it all. There we go. It's like nice little slightly extended area for the Jets. So they're getting a little bit of more of a boot than a shoe, I guess. It looks more like a boot than a shoe nowadays. Beside the point, we're gonna roll again because we have to find our team for this round to fight. Washington Redskins, haven't seen them in a hot minute either. So let's see what they want to do here today, because they're gonna be pretty much up north, but more in the eastern side of things. Ooh, and I think that's gonna be. It's going to be pretty close between the Jets and the Eagles. And I'll use my contraption to really, solidify the trajectory of it all and make sure it all lines up perfectly. It was pretty close, but it looks like the Redskins will be going to hunt for some Eagles here pretty soon, because the Redskins are going to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty overall big advantage for the Eagles in this regard. Redskins are no slouch though, so we'll see who's really able to do some damage here today. Also, a little side note before I forget, because I'm about to stop my recording for the session. Madden 2004, I don't know what the emulator's doing, but I played it 100%. So if you want to see real quick, if you see in the top right corner there, it says 100%, means the speed I'm going at for this emulator. And of course, if I click my tab button, it goes up 200%. And if I can click escape and go to toggle frame limit, and it'll go even higher. So 773, whatever, blah, blah. Not that big of a deal. But when I started putting it 100%, just to kind of slow down the game, it was really slowed. It wasn't normal slowed. It wasn't normal speed. It was actually slowed, it felt like. So if I'm actually gonna do some future series with this these old games, I need to make sure that I figure out how to fix that exactly. So a little bit of a side note beside the point. We have 43 seconds left on the clock with the Eagles down by 3. They have the ball, 2nd and 10 with 1 timeout. Will they be able to do it? Well, getting sacked is not a good start. So they got 3rd and 16. This is a big deficit they're already fighting from. Interception, go into the touchdown. Wow, I record after being away from this game for a hot minute, and I'm looking away. I'm oh, nothing's really going on. Look over, and all of a sudden, oh, it's already a minute and a half left. Let me try to get situated to record. And, well, then we go into one little drive, and two or three plays in, it's pretty much over already. Dang. Well, either way, the Eagles have fallen victim to the Redskins. It looks like down 2 scores at this point, especially 10 points. I don't know if they're going to be able to come back from it. So the final score should be 37-27. I'll show you any changes that happen along the way. So, well, I'd say the Redskins fit pretty nicely in that little territory, so it looks pretty nice on them. As well as Brian Dawkins looks pretty nice on their team as well. Man, what a time to be alive for the Washington Redskins at this point in time. But also something kind of interesting. I did upgrade their tight end from a 71 to a 76, but their next lowest overall was actually their QB, Patrick Ramsey, going from a 76 to an 81. So pretty nice, significant boosts from 21-point upgrade to their free safety with Brian Dawkins, as well as an upgrade to their tight end and QB. So Redskins low key could do pretty well here if they keep on making some small momentum moves here. So a lot of their players are still in the 76 range. But I think with some nice luck and good play style, they can advance that pretty quickly. Either way, as you'll kind of notice, by the way, this whole upload for NFL Imperialism had taken a little bit for me. And so, actually, I couldn't get it done before Thanksgiving and all those festivities, so I went home for several days, wasn't able to record any of this stuff. So, this is a new kind of upload for me. Not upload, but more, what's it called? Ooh, I see, look at all my computer stuff and all that's, kind of reset. So I wasn't able to complete this before. I tried, but I had to get a lot of videos uploaded for the meantime. But, you know how it goes sometimes. Life just hits you. But hopefully NFL Imperialism comes up pretty soon here for y'all. But either way, we still move on, and we're still finding out who is going to be doing some good stuff here. But the Redskins, of course, take over that territory. And now we move on to the Raiders, which I shouldn't even spun for them. I just kind of did out of instinct. The Raiders will be going to the Chargers and facing off in a nice little divisional matchup to really kick off this new session for me. But either way, hope all is going well with this, and hope all went well with you during the holidays. Either way, hope you enjoy the content, and let's move on to this next game. And we have a high-scoring affair when it comes to San Diego and Oakland here. Funny enough, I guess I never really thought about it this way. I realized it, but I never thought about it. Both the two of the AFC West teams changed locations within a very tight time span. So just a little interesting thing I never really thought about or came to mind, like why, well, like what the heck. Anyway, beside the point, minute and 48 seconds left. San Diego is down a touchdown and an extra point basically, and they are now 4th and 7 in their own territory. Oakland has done a very good job at stopping and really halting up the Chargers offense here, but Breeze is still leading the San Diego Chargers at this point, so maybe 4th and 7 they can convert it here, maybe get they got the first down, so the clock is still ticking, minute 39, so they are playing for an overtime right now, unless they want to go for a 2-point conversion, I guess, but they are now into Oakland territory, minute and a half left. Believe they still have all their timeouts as well, so let's see how this actually ends up for them. Drew Brees drops back, pocket collapse really quick, but still got that pass out in time. Just in time for the completion there. Minute 10 on the clock, so still plenty of time, honestly. Just kind of, stepped out of bounds. Wow, that's unfortunate. They could have got some yards there. But, unfortunately, they have a lot of time on the clock, and will that give Oakland enough time to really get in a field goal range in the game? Maybe San Diego needs to slow down a little bit. But then again, they are now at the 1-yard line, so San Diego's now calling a timeout, which I think is very interesting now, because I don't know. That's a very interesting choice here. They get stuffed up 3 times, but Oakland has a pretty good chance of responding. Field goal range is nice. It was out of bounds, so clock's still halted right now, 59 seconds at the moment. But it's very interesting. I don't know why they don't just run the ball. They really haven't ran the ball at this point. Oh, what the heck? Look at that little sack from Oakland too, and San Diego Chargers call a timeout with less than a minute still on the clock. So very interesting. They might not even get a touchdown here if they don't play it. Wow, Drew Brees, horrible pass to even make it to his running back, assuming he's throwing it to there. Could be really disastrous for San Diego. They're playing for a overtime play, but they might not even get it if they don't convert here. Not convert, but really get a touchdown here. San Diego going for a little chuck down pass. The game's over. 42-35 will be your final score because San Diego pretty much burned all the timeouts they could use, and they got enough to kneel. I'm assuming it's going to be winning formation for the Oakland Raiders, and kneel it out, make it 42-35, take home the win. Well, I guess a run also works. I guess still 1 timeout remaining, so maybe that's enough to keep them in. But 50 seconds left and 2 40-second plays you could call. So I think Oakland has this done. Probably going to kneel it here. I'm going to wait until they actually start kneeling. No, they're just going to run the ball. But they get first down anyway, it looks like. So 42-35 will be the final score. Thank you, San Diego, for coming and play. Our defending champions are no more. You're sent packing by a divisional rival. That's got to be, kind of embarrassing from a former champion. Either way, San Diego, thank you for playing. And we're going to give Oakland one of your players, I guess. Oh, well. You know, I'm thankful for a lot this year. I'm thankful for good friends, good family, the time and health that I have currently in my life. And I'm also thankful that another team is out, especially the defending champions, meaning I am thankful that we are going to have a new champion here in Madden 2004 for NFL Imperialism. But the Raiders are especially thankful for Marcellus Wiley and, of course, dethroning the current champions and the nice little upgrades they've gotten. So not only did they get a improved left end, they also upgraded their right end from a 74 to a 79. And their tight end from a 76 to an 81. So Raiders, again, they had some pretty good rosters back here in the early 2000s. Let's see if they can utilize that prime time, prime time right there for the Raiders to really capitalize in Madden. So that'd be great for them. Anyway, we are going to also showcase, look at this. The Raiders look, honestly, I don't like the Raiders, but man, that looks kind of slick. I kind of like the gray and the Raiders logo right there, right in the West Coast. Of course, not the most beautiful West Coast area team. So, but with that said, we still have to move forward and, whoops, that's the wrong thing. We have to move forward and eliminate our San Diego Chargers. Unfortunately, goodbye. We loved having you, but love to see you go as well. And moving on, we have the Green Bay Packers returning. We haven't seen them in a bit, at least I don't think we have seen them in a bit in your time. Northwest-ish, so of course they have to really move west, south, southeast. They have to kind of go in the south direction of some sort to actually get a valid movement. So they have a slight chance of expanding, but they most likely will get to fight a team. So we'll see what they really get here. But they cannot go to Canada. Packers are really scared of something over there. They are scared of whoever they're about to play because they know who's coming. But they are continuing to go north. I need you to go south, Packers. I need you to go south. I'm trying to do this all in one take so we can get this going. Come on, Packers. West, that might work. Let me check. So this was by far one of the hardest measurements because I had to actually zoom in, zoom out, and just kind of make sure our trajectory, made everything. I actually had to check to make sure what the exact middle of the Packers was because most of the time I really don't check. I use vibes, but here it was just so close to either both those states. So in the end, I decided to go Montana. It's pretty much directly west. If you look directly west of the logo that was at, now of course I moved the logo at this point to kind of center for the location. The Packers went straight west, and the middle of the Packers logo basically lined up directly with Montana. So we're going to take that as a dub there for the Packers. So Packers moved directly west, hitting Montana, and getting an expansion as well as kind of improving some players. By the way, they really want to border Canada. I guess they really were able to avoid whatever team they're scared of in the southeast. Either it's the Bears, maybe the Broncos, the Colts. Actually, I don't think they were able to play the Broncos. So never mind. The Titans, Bears, Colts, somebody. They were scared of somebody over there. I don't know who, but I guess we'll find out in the future. Either way, they did get some upgrades on their team. The wide receiver of Robert Ferguson got from 81 to an 86. Their center from an 82 to an 87, and their left outside linebacker from an 80 to an 85. Pretty good upgrades for the already good Packers team. They have made some steady improvements throughout Imperialism, and this might be able to be the thing that pays off for them because they made steady improvements, nothing too drastic. They haven't just jumped into match after match. They've beat a couple teams and then also have expanded. So the Packers are looking kind of good. So we'll see who's able to follow suit with them because we're going to spin here. You know what? Let's go ahead and spin the wheel beforehand. Denver Broncos, all right. We got Denver Broncos. They have a lot of land mass, and they're going straight north pretty much. Let's see where they kind of land up there. They are basically going to hit a territory, and that's South Dakota, and so they're going to expand into South Dakota. I'll make sure, but give me a second to check. So it wasn't even really close. The Broncos easily went to South Dakota, claimed it. Now they're directly connecting to the Packers. So two big juggernauts are kind of connected right now. Some nice expansions from them, kind of getting geared up and ready for battle here in the near future. But without, kind of another boring little segment there. But we're just going to go ahead and spin both these things before we even get started. Oh, yeah, Broncos. They even tell you about who they upgraded. Well, there's a little spoiler what's happening. The D-tackle went from an 80 to an 85. The free safety here, Sam Bradford, went from a 79 to an 84. And the punter from a 78 to an 83. So nice little upgrades, but still Broncos have some lower-end players they really need to get a little upgraded. By the way, there's an offensive lineman tied with the D-tackle at 80. I went D-line because D-line looked like it needed more help. So take that as you will. Either way, Tennessee Titans spinning pretty much south, but a little more in the east direction. So they might be hitting the Falcons. It may have just gone in the water, but I'll check here in a second. So you can debate this one, and here's kind of a deep dive into how I do the trajectory thing. So of course, this is what the arrow looks like, and it's not going directly south, where I kind of do the base of the Tennessee Titans a little bit left of the T base. I change it up every now and then, even though the center of it is technically like at the outside of the circle. I kind of just go with where the mass of it all is. So kind of like over here, I kind of use it, and it by going over here, it hits the Falcons. I could go over here and it would miss the Falcons. I have to re-roll and all that. But I kind of just play it by ear. Now, earlier I did say I have to actually use like the middle ground thing. For some of these things are just shapes, minus maybe kind of I kind of use the Redskins circle pretty much as a thing here. But I guess for the Packers, like it's an oval, so it's pretty much got symmetry. So I use the lines to help me kind of measure. But if you look at the Broncos, for example, here I'll actually kind of deep dive into it. If you see the Broncos here, it kind of goes like right over here. The more the mass of it is like kind of right here with the head, and the more important stuff feels like right here. So even though the middle ground is more in the lower end of the Bronco, I kind of put it here near the base of the neck more so. It's just how I kind of do my trajectories and stuff like that, so it may influence some calls, but overall I'm still playing pretty fair because like I said, the Tennessee Titans, again, the more of the mass is on the east side, so I really don't care. Like the Flames feel like an afterthought, but I kind of base them off a little bit. Either way, if you want to take it off by somewhere in here, it's the Falcons. If you want to be nitpicky and go the center of the icon in general, then I guess you could go over here in the Flames and basically miss it and have them re-roll. But this Titans did hit the Falcons with my rulings. If you want to be upset about it, there's my explanations at least. There's the ref and flag on the play in case anybody has any calls they want to make about that. Quick explanation on that. But we have the Tennessee Titans, a juggernaut, going in at the Falcons. Quick note as well, we have 3 teams that have not been seen at all: the Bears, the Bengals, and the Patriots. So that those teams have kind of just been flourishing and off in their own thing, I guess, doing their own thing, kind of staying out of trouble, I guess. But there's still a lot of other teams here looking for a fight, and Tennessee Titans are one of them, and they've been picking for a fight this whole NFL Imperialism 2003 and 2004. So we'll see how this really turns out for them here. And here we are in another situation where it's do or die for the Falcons. 46 seconds remaining, and immediately an interception is thrown. Sorry, Michael Vick, that pretty much was really anticlimactic. But I was about to go on a whole tangent of like, 46 seconds remaining, 1 timeout, touchdown. There's nothing else. One timeout will not do it, and the final score will more than likely be 55-50, considering 2 kneels will take this game out. It's 55-50, so we got an over 100 club with the points there, but pretty close game from both individuals or both teams. Tennessee Titans take this win, though. Welcome Peerless Price to the team, as well as an upgrade to the center and the right tackle from an 80 to an 85, both of them. So nice little upgrades here on the offense side of things for the Titans. They are just dominating, rolling through. They're making their presence known here in Madden NFL Imperialism. But with that, also nice little territory, nice little even territory. I like seeing the Tennessee Titans territory so big and nice. It just feels so, I don't know, it feels just proper. It feels like a nice little area for the Titans. Anyway, beside the point, we still have a lot of teams left. We're in our official top 10 teams, and I believe the NFC South. There's been 2 divisions eliminated, both from the NFC, I believe there's 2 divisions eliminated at this point. Beside the point, look at the screen right now. This is your top 10 teams at this point. We're well into it. We're rolling on. 3 teams still have not been seen in this NFL Imperialism just yet. So we're going to roll. Already eliminated the Falcons from the board before we got back here. The Colts, we've seen them a while ago, I believe, and they're going southwest, it looks like. And so that means they're going to probably hit the Bears, but I'm going to check to make sure it doesn't hit the Titans. I'll be fully honest, guys. I don't know why I checked that. I just kind of instinctively said I was going to check that, and really when I looked at it, I was like, wow, that was not even close. The Colts are definitely going to the Bears, which this is the first time we've seen the Bears, so we still have 2 teams after that, the Bengals and the Patriots, fighting for the Camera Shy award here. But the Colts looking pretty good against a weaker Bears team. We'll see who comes out on top here. There's not a whole lot to say here. Colts win 48-29, question mark. The Bears have like 1 or 2 more plays. 48-29. Final score, Colts win. With the snap of a finger, the Colts now have some newfound territory and are expanding even more. But not only that, they have some big upgrades. They had a big upgrade to their offensive line with the Olin Krotz coming over from the Bears to the Colts with a 20-point upgrade. Believe it or not, Brian Urlacher, I forgot exactly how you say his last name, to be honest with you. Beside the point, he wasn't enough, even though he's a 98. He really wasn't the biggest boost for them. But we did get some upgrades from 69s for both the right outside linebacker and cornerback, all the way up to 74. So a little bit more overall team, but the Colts on the downside really have some low-end players, especially on defense. Their offense is amazing. They're able to put up the points, but their defense struggles a little bit. So we'll see how that really comes out for them furthermore in this whole NFL Imperialism. Either way, we do have to get rid of the Chicago Bears and move on and move forward with the next team in our lineup. And it looks like it's going to be the Colts again. They're going to want to come back with a northwest attack, it looks like. And I think that's pretty easily going to be the Packers. I mean, that's going to be close, but I'll check just to be sure. All right, depending on where you consider the middle of the Colts logo, it can vary just a tiny bit, but majority of the areas I would consider that you could consider a middle ground for the Colts logo does lead into the Packers before it cuts off into that Iowa type part for, I believe it's Iowa, the Iowa type part for the Titans. So the Colts do narrowly hit the Packers, but I don't know which one would have been a better matchup for them, because Packers and Titans are looking really, really good. And at this point, as you see on the screen here, Colts do have a overall disadvantage both in offense and defense, but especially on the defensive side of the ball. So, man, the Packers with Brett Favre and the Colts Peyton Manning, juggernaut matchup for this rest of this NFL Imperialism. We do have a pretty close game here between the Colts and Green Bay here. Green Bay just threw it out of bounds, but a little over a minute left. Colts are up 41-38. Green Bay has the ball with a minute left. They need a field goal, put themselves in overtime with the Indianapolis Colts, or simply a touchdown wins them the game, basically. Obviously, Colts could respond and all that, but 3rd and 7, not going to cut it. They do get all 4 downs here because they, oh my gosh, it is a streak of a run. A streak of a run is a run all the way there. Well, it wasn't really a run, but it was a pass halfway down the field that led to like a 40-yard run. So, heck yes, for the Packers. They have 51 seconds left on the clock here, giving it to the Colts with basically a do-or-die situation. Is your offense good enough to get a touchdown in less than a minute, or is the Green Bay Packers going to dominate? That is the question they have to answer here. And I think the Colts have been leading for most of the game, too, so Green Bay has really fought back into this game here for them. And so it's amazing to see the progression here, but Colts are in do-or-die situation. Not too sure how many timeouts they have, so they have to march about 50, 20 or 80 yards to actually make it. Field goal does them nothing. So big plays, timeouts, whatever, but sack will not be good. They do use a timeout, so it saves them a little bit of time there. Maybe get readjusted. 2nd and 16. They need to go for something pretty nice here to get that first down. A little chuck down play probably loses them a yard, honestly. So it's gonna be 3rd and 17. Let's see. No, 3rd and 21 lost them many yards. So 3rd and 21. Of course, they're going to have to use all the 4 of their downs pretty much because they're in a do-or-die situation. They did catch the ball, puts them in 4th and not really manageable, but puts them more so closer to the ball there. But they do get a first down, breaks a couple tackles. They are now easily into territory of the Green Bay Packers here. 22 seconds remaining. They must not have. I'm curious if they have a timeout left. 45-41, less than 20 seconds remaining, 19 seconds. But they only have 39-ish yards now. So it's much more manageable. Once you get in that 30, 25, 20 range, oh, well, dang, that pass was very unfortunate. Once you get in that 39, 35, 20 kind of range, 25, 20 range, you start getting to that nice little passing range where a 20-yard pass, it gets you a touchdown. So maybe that's the manageable part for the Colts here. 17 seconds remaining. Oh, that was a very unfortunate tipped-off pass leading to an interception. Green Bay is going to win this game 45-41. Very good game, though, from the Colts. Unfortunately, though, you will be bid adieu. You know what the great part about stealing a receiver is? You get to keep that second receiver, and it doesn't really become a useless thing because three receivers is used quite a bit. It's just that 2 really just start, quote-unquote. You can have a wide receiver 3, especially even in these older games, but weirdly enough, 2 start, quote unquote, I guess, in these games. So, whatever, roll with it. But Marvin Harrison is joining the Packers, making this offense really, really scary on the kind of weapon front because Brett Favre throwing to Marvin Harrison, pretty nice, even if it's a slight upgrade from Peyton Manning, which, I mean, arguably, tomato at that point, if you want to say upgrade. Beside the point, other than Marvin Harrison, the right outside linebacker and the punter got a 5-point upgrade from an 82 to an 87. And the Packers take over the Colts territory and make up this, again, more northern area. Not really rounded at all, kind of just like a corner, big L. If you flip it upside down and flip it horizontally or something. So flip it vertically and horizontally, and you got an L, basically. So look at this nice little territory. Packers are accumulating, making this really big 3 meet right here of the Tennessee Titans, Broncos, Packers. Probably the 3 biggest teams. Redskins, though, are not necessarily out of it yet. Raiders have a low-key good team. Patriots, even with their default roster, could do some work. Jets, also kind of a low-key team that could do. Bengals, kind of the Arizona Cardinals of the last time, it seems like, so far, because they have a weaker roster, but we saw what the Cardinals could do in a very short amount of time. And here we have these juggernaut teams, our final 8. So it's going to get crazy real quick. So this is like basically our divisional matchup. So really cool to see. Either way, we got to move on and find our next team to find out who's moving on to the Final 7, Final 4, whatever. So whoever it is going to go Northwest, and it's the Green Bay Packers, which they cannot go Northwest, especially from their territory. They can have to go more either south, like more west. So basically, very slightly northwest, north or southwest, south, southeast. They have a couple matchups they can do, but they're going to go northeast again. They cannot do that. Whoops, got to go back to this. Boop. Because as you see, they are going to go way out there. They can't face the Jets because the Jets do not have a border with them. They could technically face the Redskins. I never really thought about that. That'd be an interesting, matchup right there. Let's see. Oh, that's going to be kind of close. So let's check that one real quick, just to be sure. Just in case it might hit the Raiders, we'll just check these just to be sure. So I know it's going to be controversial. It's going to be a pretty close call. Obviously, by the way, I meant to say expansion, not into the Raiders. Now they can hit the Raiders. But it was a pretty close call, and especially from the distance I had to measure, they just want to go all the way out west. They really love that northern border of the United States. It's kind of crazy. Beside the point, Green Bay did barely hit that expansion rather than going up into Canada, just due to this, how low it is to the west and how far it was. It was hard to calculate. But I trust my kind of instinct from there, because I actually had to really use the edge of my mechanical device here that totally tells accurate information right in the pinpoint, and use the whole length of it and kind of still assume a little bit, because I had to zoom out to 76% to even get it close to that, and any further off I didn't feel much more confident. But beside the point, they do expand and they do improve their team quite a bit. Holy crap, their lowest overall players were 83, 84, 84. 83 going from 83 to an 88 with a strong safety, and 84 to an 89 for the cornerback and left tackle, second cornerback, of course, making some very, very good overall Packers team. Very, very solid. Honestly, probably has the easy highest overall in this game so far. With this team improving the defense and especially improving the offensive line, it's going to be nice to see the Packers go head-to-head with somebody. But that is not in this current moment in time. We have to spin again, and we'll just go ahead and spin the wheel. See who's going to do it. I'm going to guess the Bengals. The Bengals, we haven't seen them at all. Will we see the Patriots? No, it's the Packers once again, who are going southwest, and I'm pretty sure it's easily going to be the Broncos. We have a Green Bay Packers going to the Denver Broncos, and Green Bay's looking really good for a big conquest here. Make a big little... Wow, just imagine if the Green Bay, or whoever wins this game, is going to have a very awkward territory. Very bulky on this side with a couple, a little bit of leaning there. You have to put, right there. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get to the matchup here. With Green Bay Packers going to Denver to face off against the Broncos. Completely honest with you, I kind of just phased out and looked away from my computer. I was working on a lot of other stuff. Yeah, so this is what I came back to. The Broncos won 36-17. It was kind of a slaughter for the first half, and then I kind of just turned away and stopped caring. Looked back at fourth quarter start, still slaughter. Broncos had the ball. It's okay, cool, I have a little bit of time. Came back and didn't see any of the game, but there you go. Final score 36-17, Broncos win. It took me longer to make this part of the map. A little bit longer than I would care to admit, just because I was trying to center that Denver Broncos logo. I couldn't really find the... I don't know. Feels like it kind of should go a little bit lower, but feels like it also should stay up there because there's a lot of landmass over there. I don't know. Plus, it threw me off that the Bengals have pretty much the same color orange at this point, because I'm pretty sure I used the logos for all this templates for the coloring in, so it's kind of throwing me off that those are pretty similar shades of orange. Either way, lots of things throwing me off, but not throwing me off is the Denver Broncos taking over a big part of territory, kind of officially marking I'm splitting the United States down the middle. I guess technically more so in the matchup between Tennessee and Broncos, Denver and Tennessee will really initiate that, but it's still worth them, showcasing, because there's still a little bit of expansion that either the Raiders or Broncos can do. So nice little caveat there. Caveat, I don't know if that was the appropriate word, but it's a word. We'll keep on moving forward, because the player that the Broncos stole from the Packers, of course, is Marvin Harrison. Really old receiving core, but a pretty decent receiving core for the Broncos, as well as a nice little upgrade from an 81 to an 86 and an 80 to an 85 from their left tackle and right tackle, respectively. So nice little upgrades, put Broncos really up there. And honestly, by the way, so just for some other clarification there, sorry for missing part of the game. It just sometimes happens when I'm just recording these, multitasking. I got away from it, and it just happened. So you didn't really miss much. I would be paying attention to games that are really close. So you really didn't miss much. It was more than 2 scores. It's actually probably 3 scores at that point. Yeah, it's probably 3 scores at that point. Nothing really was missed. Look at the stats. It was like, nothing really happened that was worth noting of. So Broncos were leading all the way, and going from there, nothing too interesting happened. Again, so we're gonna move forward and move on to the. Oh, by the way, really interesting that the Green Bay Packers had like a 4 or 5 overall difference on the Broncos and still easily lost. So I don't know if overalls really matter anything in these older sims, to be honest with you. But either way, at least another win for the home team. They need some more of those because they do not have very good stats for Madden 2004. Speaking of the Tennessee Titans, though. We did speak about them earlier, and I guess they're going to make this matchup a lot earlier than I thought it would happen. The Tennessee Titans are planning on taking on the Denver Broncos, and possibly the game to decide probably one of the finalists, because this is going to be a really insane matchup, and that's easily hitting Denver. I'm not even going to really measure it. So we have Tennessee heading to Mile High. Let's see what happens. Just a cool little note that I saw as we were entering this game. Tennessee Titans and Denver Broncos at this point have a perfectly even team across the board. Same overall, same offense, same defense. So that's pretty unique here. I don't think I've seen that very often, especially with the cool little bars. I like that effect. So, it's something to note. And we have a match right here. Tennessee with 1 drive remaining, 52 seconds. Third down, 13-19. Now 3rd and 8 here. Have no timeouts remaining. Tennessee has to drive all the way down and get a touchdown for the win. Field goal will not do. Denver's up by 6 points. So a touchdown along with the extra point will win Tennessee this game. But they got to no huddle, spike the ball, get things ready to go. 41 seconds. They still have a lot of yards to make up. 60 yards. So they need to really get their gear and going. Tennessee has a very good roster here. Offense, very well equipped here. Very low scoring game from both these teams here. So we'll see. Incomplete pass, not the worst thing in the world. 38 seconds left. Starting to get ticked down into that really worrisome area for Tennessee. Denver's defense, of course, holding up pretty well. We'll see what they do here. It's been a very defensive game. Pretty good gain there. Around 41 yards left. 41 yards left. About 28 seconds after the spike. 2nd and 10, 28 seconds remaining. They need some big plays here, though. It's going to be a very, very close. Tennessee's going to cut it very, very close here. But once they drop back, 28 seconds remaining. Pass. Not the kind of gain they need, though. 23 seconds. Can't really afford a spike either. So they guess got to quickly do something. Incomplete pass, 4th and 5, 18 seconds remaining. Your number 1 priority is just get that first down. You might be able to get one more play off, but after that at least. So 18 seconds remaining. They get that first down at the very least. Give yourself a shot, but turnover on downs. Denver's taking away this victory, 19-13 against Tennessee here. Very good game, very hard fought by both these teams. Tennessee's been a juggernaut in both these NFL Imperialisms, but has fell just short. Denver finally starting to get a roll going here. They kind of got something going in NFL Madden 2003 for just a hot second for 1 win, but unfortunately they weren't able to capitalize that. But now they're starting to kind of roll more and more, and Denver might just be the juggernaut of this Madden 2004 Imperialism to see if anybody can stop them, similar to how people had to stop the Titans last time. So we'll get to the map. Well, that's a hefty land total for the Broncos to roam around. Really big team right in the middle, though, of course, right in between now the split of the Raiders and, of course, the other 4 teams on the East Coast or east side of things. Broncos completely taking over that middle coast, kind of similar, or the middle of the United States, similar to Tennessee last time and Arizona last time, and I guess Chargers last time. Either way, in that order. So either way, looking at this, by the way, we have 5 AFC teams left and only 1 NFC team left. The Redskins are the only NFC team left. Meanwhile, Patriots, Jets are in the same division. Bengals are, in their division. Broncos and Raiders share division. AFC South have been officially kicked off. Kind of interesting, kind of in our final 6. But either way, looking at the Broncos, they got a minor upgrade at right end from a basically 83 to a 91 with Javon Curse, I guess. That was the biggest differential upgrade they could really get. But they did have a pretty good and important upgrade to their quarterback. Quarterback went from an 82 to an 87, being the lowest overall player with your quarterback there. It's kind of nice when you get a +5. Meanwhile, the strong safety went from an 83 to an 88. So nice little upgrades here, but still some more lower end players of the Broncos. They have a little bit more work to do if they really want to have the high end players. Then again, we've seen some big teams already get knocked off. Beside the point, we have to spin again and get rid of another team. Tennessee Titans are gone. We have 6 teams left. Arrow to spin. Let's see who is still here. Washington Redskins, the last NFC team, moving like about southwest-ish. So we're going to see where they kind of decide to go. That's going to be pretty close between the Bengals and the Broncos. Redskins will be pretty ballsy to take on the Broncos, but I'll update you, see which team is actually they're facing. Really, to be honest with you, the direction of the arrow, it pretty much straight on went and hit one of the oranges. Wasn't the Broncos, though. The Redskins, fortunately, hit the Bengals, so they might have a little bit more of a promising matchup against the Bengals. Hopefully build themselves up overall-wise before they start hitting the big, heavy hitters. But the Redskins did land on the Bengals, so the Redskins will be going to Cincinnati, face off against them. They do have a decent advantage, but not like a big, monumental advantage over the Bengals. As well, you know, Redskins are fighting for their lives here, not only for their lives, but the NFC's lives. You know, they're the last remaining NFC team and really need to represent that conference. Beside the point there, the Bengals are the second to last team seen in this NFL Imperialism. The Patriots are the final team we have not yet seen in NFL Imperialism, and we'll see if they can beat the Cardinals' record. Round 27, I believe, was last time we saw, or the last round we saw the Cardinals, or the first round we saw the Cardinals, I should say. So we'll see if the Patriots can continue on. I believe this is round 27, if I'm not mistaken, kind of going and referring to my Excel sheet. We are in round 27 right now, so they actually have already beaten it. Because round 26 is the Titans-Broncos, round 27 is now the Redskins-Bengals. So Patriots, by default, kind of already have won it, so we'll see how much they can beat it by. Either way, we need to dive right into this matchup. Well, just like that, the NFC falls, along with the Redskins, which is the last remnants of the NFC conference in Madden 2004 Imperialism so far. The Bengals took this game single-handedly away, 54-34, final score. Anytime you can add a 99 overall player to your team, it's a pretty good day. Outside of that, the upgrades were kind of lackluster. We had a right guard go from a 72 to a 77, and a fullback go from a 65 to a 70. And the Bengals' overall team is still on the lower end after, you know, being cooped up for so long and not picked. They really didn't have a chance for any matches or expansions. So Bengals have a little bit of overall deficiency, but they still have a decent team all around, especially with the addition of Brian Dawkins. That's not nothing. So the Bengals still could be a force to reckon with in this matchup here. And of course, if you take a look at the map here, this really bothers me. There's a bunch of orange. Both the Bengals and Broncos have done well, so, or at least have made it this far. So a bunch of orange, but only, you know, one smidge is for the Bengals, big for the Broncos here. But we still have the Jets up there in the Northeast. Patriots are still hanging on. Raiders still in the West. So right now it's looking at the Broncos game, but the Jets are nothing to be tackled on. Patriots still have a solid team. And Raiders, honestly, have built themselves a nice little team as well. So there's still a lot of shots here for a lot of these different teams, and we will have a new champion. Actually, funny enough, the Chargers were the champions for the previous NFL Imperialism. The Raiders and Broncos, one of them wins. It's a second win for the AFC West overall. So that's kind of a little bit of a cool tidbit. Either way, though, we have to go to the spinner here and figure out one of those teams. Which one of these teams we're actually going to see. We haven't seen the Patriots yet. The Raiders have two choices, either expand or fight. And they're going straight north, and, well, I don't think that's really an option for them. Only pretty much dead east, or, like, anything east. So, like, that will not really work out because it's pretty much just going boop. It's going to go somewhere in the eastern hemisphere of some sort, at least. Whether it's northeast, south, west, southeast, whatever. That should work. So I believe we have ourselves a matchup, because I believe that's pretty comfortably into Broncos territory. So I'll see you guys in near the end of the game. Divisional matchup to see which AFC West team will be representing themselves in the Final Four here. Basically the conference championships at that point, even though it's all AFC at this point, unfortunately. You know, I can't really say I'm happy about this outcome, but it's an outcome. The Raiders destroy the Broncos 50-13. Let's go ahead and go to the board and show the Raiders their new territory, why don't we? But before we get to that map, let's check out the new addition to the I almost called them the Las Vegas Raiders, the Oakland Raiders here. Marvin Harrison, 99 overall, 13+ increase to the wide receiver 3, or wide receiver 2, sorry, making a really good receiving core of Marvin Harrison, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, and Jerry Porter. You cannot ask for a better receiving core right now, to be honest with you. They also received a slight upgrade from the right end from a 79 to an 84, and a strong safety from a 78 to an 83. But obviously, very significantly, the Raiders have a majority of the United States at this point. There are very few teams over in the East Coast that can really face off. There's a lot of expansions that could still be done over there, but right now the Raiders kind of just own America until a team decides to step up and show out. So with that said, we do have to find the next team that's going to step up and show out. But we do have to say goodbye to our Denver Broncos. Spin there, go and spin the wheel too, and see who's going to land on. They're going to be Oakland Raiders. They're going to actually fight, maybe. Who is the Oakland Raiders? And they will be going northwest, which pretty much they can't do anything because northwest. I'll check it to make sure it doesn't hit that, or to hit Utah, but I don't think it does. Wasn't even really close, so we're just going to keep on spinning until we get something that's kind of relevant, which is going to basically be this northeast or maybe that. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Something that hits right here, it'll skate by here. Going south or anything like that before Willie wouldn't do anything, so I'll check this out to be sure. Hello, everybody. So I accidentally stopped recording because I had to go do something real quick in between little takes. And I realized I didn't start recording again, and I just started spinning the arrow direction thing. I promise it's legit. This is where it landed up, and the arrow for the Raiders is pointing directly at the Bengals based on the top of the little head right here. So like about right there, goes directly, pretty much like, oh, not directly, but it goes a little bit more in the east direction. Doesn't quite expand or anything. Just hits the Bengals. So the Raiders will be going to the Bengals. Already have the game starting up, and it's kind of getting nice and rolling right now. So the Oakland Raiders are attacking the Cincinnati Bengals. There wasn't really any other close calls. There was a close call with Utah. I don't know if I covered that one. Maybe that was the whole point of that cut. But yeah, beside the point. The Oakland Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals facing off. I'll see y'all at the end of the game. With this kickoff marks the possibly final drive that Oakland will have to beat the Cincinnati Bengals here and now. Oakland obviously has a very, very big commanding lead over the board, but Cincinnati looks to knock them off and actually take control for themselves here. Oakland, of course, 1 point down, only needs to get within field goal range right now. Minute 37, so plenty of time on the clock. They just got to methodically go down. Great offense here, so they should be able to methodically drive down, kill out the clock, and be fine. But they have to make sure they get into territory within a reasonable time frame. No huddles and getting all of that going. But Cincinnati really needs to stop here if they want to stay in it right here. Out of bounds here, fortunate for Cincinnati. Minute 13 left, so not a whole lot of clock, but enough for both teams to work with. Cincinnati either needs to stop them here, or hopefully stop them to get a field goal, and also make sure there's enough time on the clock. Now, Raiders are being smart here, kind of killing the clock a little bit, but still methodically kind of going down the field. Was that first down? Oh, hold up. Oh, it is deemed first and 10. So they are pretty much within field goal range, about 44, 54. So about 61-yard field goal. So they probably need. Oh, there's a fumble. Cincinnati recovers. I'm about to say the Raiders need about like a 10 yards to get within a field goal range at all. But Cincinnati Bengals just fumble recovered right there. So they just need to run this clock out. And Oakland has a few timeouts they can use, but I mean, they are pretty much going to be on the fence at this point. Cincinnati may have stolen this game away. 23-22. Holy crap. Again, they're just going to run the ball and kill this clock. That's all they need to do. A few more yards, and a first down guarantees a victory here. What is that, about 3rd and 3? Let's see. 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2 is all it's stopping Cincinnati from winning this game and taking over the board, making it a very orange board again. 4th down, but they just need to kneel it looks like, because there's no more timeouts remaining. So they can just punch it away, and Oakland will have 5 seconds to basically basically return this or make a big play. With no timeouts remaining, they really have no choice, depending on when Cincinnati decides to punt this. I'm not too sure exactly where the play clock will be at. Probably about 5 seconds, if I had to guess. So they're going to have less than 10 seconds to do something with this ball, and they fair caught it for a touchback. All right, Oakland, let's see what you got. Let's see what your medal is meant to do here. 3 seconds remaining, basically just one Hail Mary play, touchdown. All I need. That was probably too quick of a pass. Decent pass, but Rich Gannon, of course, gets injured. Right as the time ticks down. Cincinnati has stolen this win, making this final score 23-22. You know, there's not many things guaranteed in NFL Imperialism, but apparently Marvin Harrison going to a winning team is one of those things where Marvin Harrison's committed to making sure he's on the winning team no matter who it ends up being. Either way, he's on the Cincinnati Bengals now after a plus 19 upgrade from wide receiver 2 to him. So pretty nice little overall Bengals wide receiver core. Meanwhile, the fullback is upgraded from a 70 to a 75 and the punter from a 72 to a 77. So pretty alright overall team for the Bengals. But more importantly here as well, they are also easily capturing all that territory left behind by the Raiders. So Bengals are now in the driver's seat with only two other teams who we haven't seen really much from, or in the case of the Patriots, nothing from. We haven't seen anything from them actually. So we are going to move on to now our final little bit, getting rid of the Oakland Raiders, moving on to only 3 more teams. Who will be the one in the driver's seat this time? Not the Patriots, it'll be the Jets here. What will the Jets do? Will they improve their team a little bit, or will they attack the Patriots? Let's go and check out the map. It looks like they're just going to expand. That's going to just be an expansion, I believe. So the expansion was pretty close. It actually ended up clipping from the middle of this logo to kind of going over like its own territory, over the water, and hitting this little part of Vermont that sticks out right before Maine. And since the Jets do border Vermont, even though they crossed water, they ended up actually expanding, because that's one of my rules, is that if they do border a state and they hit it over water, they can still expand. So Jets do end up expanding here. With that said, the Jets also upgraded their free safety from a 79 to an 84, their punter from a 76 to an 81, and their fullback from a 77 to an 82. So Jets are, increasing their roster a little bit, kind of getting on the same-ish level of the Bengals. The Bengals kind of in the same level of the Jets. Patriots roster, though, still pretty good. So all three teams have a pretty competitive edge, but no one seems to have a very big edge over anybody. So this is actually anybody's game for the remaining competitors here. With that said, we still have three teams here. What's going to happen here after Jets? Oh, Jets are going to get to go again. Are they going to just keep on expanding? Are they going to just improve their team to hopefully give them that edge that they need over some of their opponents? It's going to be more of a Southwest go. So let's see what the Jets are going to be doing roughly. That's going to be an attack on the Bengals. Remember, even pretty much, that's going to basically probably hit the water here and go over the ocean here, but since again they border the Bengals, the Jets just want to go ahead and get this fight over with. They want to take on the Bengals. We'll see, but after this, basically it goes into our finals. So the Patriots, after doing nothing this whole game, not being touched once, not being spun on once, they are making it to the finals of NFL Madden 2004 Imperialism, while the Jets and Bengals are fighting off for that final spot. Here we go. The Cincinnati Bengals have 1 minute 3 seconds, no timeouts, I believe, and are down 6 points against the New York Jets here. So they have a drive, and are they just going to take it to the house immediately? The Cincinnati Bengals took it to the house immediately, wasting almost no time, like 7 seconds. The Jets have most of their timeouts. So I don't know if that was too quick by Cincinnati, honestly. This is really gonna come down to their defense here to see whether they can keep back the Jets, and the Jets have a decent defense or decent offense in this game. So we'll see, or at least at this point in this matchup. But the Jets now have 54 seconds to drive down and kick a field goal or get a touchdown, either one. So let's see here. Of course, the Jets, boom, bada bing, going down. They have 50 seconds to do so and capitalize on this moment here. Luckily, Cincinnati has made some very crucial stops in the second half of this game to get them into this point. So Jets, they're already at the midfield. They already used a timeout, 46 seconds remaining, and they're pretty much 15-ish yards away. Let's see, 35, 45, probably a little bit more, about 20 yards away from a comfortable field goal. But they are just going to house it too. We have touchdown central here in the last minute. It looked like the Chiefs-Bills game from like 2 years ago at this point. So now Cincinnati has to answer with their own touchdown because this extra point's going to make it a 6 point. Oh wait, they're going for a 2-pointer here, but it's no good. So I guess it made sense going for the 2-pointer. Beside the point, Cincinnati now has 40 seconds. So now we're back to Cincinnati here. 40 seconds, no timeouts, to get a touchdown. Field goal won't do them any good here, so we're going to see what Cincinnati can do. Let's see if they can house it immediately again. Maybe you can get this on kick return. Nope, stopped at like 21. Let's see, 37 seconds remaining for Cincinnati, but they're regretting that fast touchdown now, or at least letting up that quick touchdown in the last drive. Either way, here we go, Cincinnati, 37 seconds remaining. See what they can do. Little check down pass does not get out of bounds, unfortunately. That will kill their time a little bit here. They do spike it for 3rd and 2, 25 seconds remaining. I mean, might as well at this point. You have to go for it. So 3rd and 2, 25 seconds remaining. They need some decent gains here that are going out of bounds. Let's see. Go out of bounds? No, they're just going to immediately go down. 49-yard line, roughly. Quick spike here. Get them at 13. 13 seconds remaining. Maybe 2 quick plays. If they can really hurry, maybe 1 good play and a spike, and maybe get a good shot at the goal line here. I'm not too sure. 13 seconds remaining does not give a whole lot of wiggle room. Maybe if they quickly spike it, they can get it like a 4-second, 3 seconds. 3 seconds left. So 1 play for it all. About 30 yards to make here for Cincinnati. So Cincinnati has basically from the 30-yard line has to find the end zone. Not impossible. It's actually almost almost in the prime category, but a little chuck down pass will not do it. Cincinnati does take the L here to the New York Jets, making our finals the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. Funny enough, not only are they in the same conference for the first time in NFL Madden NFL Imperialism, if I can ever say that right, finals, but is also a divisional matchup in the Madden NFL Imperialism finals. Interesting stuff here, but let's go ahead and see an update on the map. Here it is, the finals map. Of course, if you recall, basically I kind of get rid of any possible expansions as soon as the final two teams are determined, and I kind of just fill in the map as best I can. The Patriots kind of got 2 states, and the Jets got all the rest of them because of the pure size of the total map right now, so, or at least the total size of what the Jets were doing at this point. But we have a Jets Patriots NFL Imperialism finale here. Very impressive from them. Of course, before we get all that, of course, we're not doing any more expansions. But again, Marvin Harrison changing teams as many times as who knows who at this point. Marvin Harrison wants to join the winning team and joins the receiving core of the Jets. You'll notice a little bit of a small difference to the Jets. I did trade away one of their more expensive receivers because this game cares about cap room. So I just boosted the overall back up to match it, but it's a cheaper wide receiver. I believe it was Danny Farmer, or no, it was Danny Farmer, I believe, that I had to. So either way, I just want to note that for the Jets here, that they did get Marvin Harrison, and they did get a receiver, another receiver, which was also 80, or that I made 80. But they also got another D tackle that is slightly different that I made an 80 as well. So one to kind of establish that, hey, I did change up the roster, but I didn't change up the numbers behind the roster, if that makes sense. Beside the point, the Jets also receive an upgrade to their kicker from a 77 to an 82, and a tight end from a 79 to an 84, which are the final upgrades of NFL Imperialism. Now, we have 2 teams looking to face off, and we're going to go ahead and next out the Cincinnati Bengals. Whichever this team lands on is the away team, and whichever one isn't land on is the home team. So it will be very fitting. The New England Patriots are our last spun team. They are attacking the very big territory of the New York Jets. We're going to see who is the winner of the second ever NFL Imperialism here on StraightA. I wish I could say there was a more interesting conclusion than New England's coming in at the end and sweeping a victory away from the New York Jets. It was a really close game up until about the middle of the third quarter, and then New England just continued to take it away from them. So, and well, not quite. They didn't quite take it away from them there. I thought they were going to score another touchdown, which would have been very unfortunate for the New York Jets. A little bit more, salt in the wound type deal. But, yeah, no, we just saw New England literally come in. Did not see them all of NFL Imperialism. And they come in and beat the Jets, who've kind of crawled their way up there. And, well, took away a victory that could have possibly been them. But honestly, what is more fitting than the New England Patriots coming in like that, taking an opportunity from a really up-and-coming team like that, and just sweeping over a victory? Well, New England, congratulations. Let's get to the map. And this is the map for the current NFL Madden 2004 Imperialism. New England Patriots came in, swept the ends, and took the victory away, making the second ever champion of NFL Madden Imperialism, joining the Chargers in that little charade of things, and making 2 AFC champions basically, with no NFC representation up on the winners board just yet. But New England did take this away. Congratulations to them. But we have a lot of stats that we got to look at too for this episode, plus kind of add up cumulative stats from both Madden 2003 and 2004 of just some of the kind of interesting things to show. While I'm getting together all the stats directly, I did want to kind of show off the scoreagami. I'm just doing this as a little fun little project for me. I'll just kind of zoom in real quick. But this is the current state of the scoreagami. If you want to kind of look at it real quick, I'll scroll through it as quickly as I can. But if it says game A1-1, basically the first thing indicates is game A1 indicates that it's the Madden 2003 year or round 1. So if I do multiple rounds of this, it's game A1, which is round 1 Madden 2003. So game A, so A represents the round it's in. 1 right by the A indicates the year. So like the Madden 2003, Madden 2004 would be 2, and -1 is the quantity. So how many games have had that score. So if you're not familiar with scoreagami, this basically just showcases all of the scores that we've ever seen from the Madden NFL Imperialism so far. And a couple of, if you see 2 and it has comments, that basically just tells me which one's in A1 dash comma A2, stuff like that. It's a little confusing, but it's not that bad, But yeah, this is the current state. We had a lot of them extend the board a little bit from this NFL Imperialism with some higher scoring type items here. But yeah, that's the current state of it. I'll zoom all the way out for you as well in case you want to see all of it at once. well, kind of. You can kind of see all of it at once. But if you want to pause and look at it, feel free. Otherwise, let's get to the stats. Hey everyone, this is the stat portion of the Madden 2004 NFL Imperialism. Of course, again, for this kind of slideshow, I'm not able to really show my camera without, either really editing a lot or just missing a lot of the stats for y'all not to see. So I don't want to make sure y'all miss anything. But here's the before and after map, of course, of the 2004 NFL Imperialism, as well as all of the placings. So the leaderboards: Vikings 32nd, Jaguars 31st, Bills in 30th. So nice little ending 3. Then you got the Panthers, Seahawks, Browns, Bucks, Cardinals, Lions, Steelers, Dolphins, Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Cowboys, Giants in the bottom half of the leaderboard. Well, you got the Saints, 49ers, Rams, Eagles, Chargers, Falcons outside the top 10, with the Bears at number 10, Colts number 9, Packers number 8, Titans number 7, Redskins impressive number 6, Broncos number 5, Raiders number 4, and with the bronze, silver, and gold being Bengals, Jets, Patriots. So pretty cool there with the overall leaderboard from this NFL Imperialism. The banger of a game, highest scoring game award goes to the Titans-Falcons game that was 55-50 in favor of the Titans, and this is the second time the Titans have ever received this award. The total score of the game was 105, so pretty banger of a game, I'd say. So pretty good, impressive for them to do so. Snooze Fest, the lowest scoring game of NFL Imperialism 2003 was the 20-10 game, 30 total points of the Bucks at the Jags. Bucks ended up going on top, but even for a 30-point game, that's not too horrible, honestly. Camera shy, of course, the Patriots, our eventual winner, was the last appearance shown in NFL Imperialism. They lasted all the way to the furthest you can without being noticed in round 31, very early on for the series. But either way, they did it. Congratulations, Patriots. Star of the show, most appearances, were the Denver Broncos this time around, 8 appearances total, with also them receiving the Bloodlust award with most eliminations total. The big time player, highest average points 4 per game, so the highest amount of points put up essentially, goes to the St. Louis Rams at 48.5 points total. The down bad, lowest average points 4 per game, so lowest points scored by them were the Jaguars and Cardinals at 10 points. The defensive struggles, highest average points against per game, 66 total points there, lines in this Madden NFL Imperialism. Defensive might, lowest average points against per game, 20 points, so that's the lowest amount of points scored on, I guess. 20 points total with the Jaguars. Hometown hero, most home games with 3 are the Broncos and Bengals tied for this time around. While we had a lot of traveling nomads with the Colts, the Packers, the Titans, the Redskins, and the Raiders all having 3 away games being the most in NFL Imperialism Madden 2004, of course. No claim here. A lot of states weren't claimed in this one, opposed to the previous NFL Imperialism, with Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, New Jersey, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Utah, and Virginia all not being claimed. So lots of different unclaimed territories in this one. Home versus away stats. The home team were 11-20, and away was 20-11. Much more skewed against home this time around. Don't know where the discrepancy comes from in these older games, but away really ran away with this. No pun intended. The divisional breakdown, going from 8th to 1st real quick. NFC South, 20.5 average placement with 3 wins and 4 expansions. Then, of course, okay. So next, the 7th seed, basically, or 7th place, was the 20.5, 2 wins, 3 expansions. How I kind of determined that tiebreaker was just basically who had the last team available, who had the longest team that was still around. So the highest scoring or the highest placed team, essentially, or lowest placed team, depending how you look at it. Either way, the NFC North is up next with 18.5 average placement with 3 wins, 3 expansions. AFC North were right after them, 18 average placement with 2 wins, 0 expansions. It's not very impressive, not really too much from them, but pretty overall on the right side balance across the board with wins at least, and expansions more so without the AFC North. Then you have the AFC South. It was 16.75 average placement with 5 wins, 1 expansion. Of course, you got the Jets, Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, that 13.75 average placement with 4 wins, 2 expansions. Then you got the last NFC team with an average placement of 13.5, 5 wins, 3 expansions. Really carried the NFC in this one, it looks like. And then finally, the AFC West at 10.5 average placement, 7 wins, 3 expansions. Very, very well done, especially by the Broncos and Raiders, who really helped that placement average significantly. Then moving on, the conference breakdown for this one, AFC 18 wins, while the NFC had 13 wins, 6 expansions only for the AFC, and 13 expansions total for the NFC. Then, of course, that was only the Madden 2004 kind of stats accumulation. This next portion is going to be all the cumulative stats. So kind of all the awards for all of NFL Imperialism on StraightA so far. I'll kind of go these pretty quickly. But here's the leaderboard on the average placement so far. Buccaneers and dead last, Jaguars up next, and the Vikings up next. And the number by their name is the average placement they have. Ravens at 29, Lions, Cowboys, Panthers, Bills. If you see some tiebreakers, again, I just took who had the highest placement and took that as a tiebreaker. So the Bills had a higher placement than the Panthers, which led to them being above them technically. The Browns, Packers, Texans, Rams, Saints, Eagles, Steelers, and Seahawks all kind of average out the bottom 16, of course. Moving on, the Redskins are number 16. The Bears, Chiefs, Raiders, Jets, Falcons, all kind of outside the top 10. While the Cardinals with 13.5 average placement, that first NFL Imperialism really helped. Dolphins at 13 average placement, Giants at 12. The Colts at 9.5, the 49ers at 9, the Broncos with an impressive 8.5, the Bengals with even more impressive 7, and then, of course, our top 3, the Chargers at 6.5, the winners of the first NFL Imperialism, and Titans at 6 average placement with a second-place trophy. Again, really came down to them eliminating teams and getting really good. And then, of course, our other winner, and the Patriots at 3.5 average placement, with them taking first place in this NFL Imperialism. Some of the awards too. So the banger of a game, high scoring game award so far is now with the Titans Falcons from this Madden 2004 round 1. Madden 2003 round 1 did still see the lowest scoring game with the 49ers and Chargers in 29 total points. The Madden Camera Shy last appearance, and this will probably accumulate with many other teams and their performances, but the Patriots currently hold the round 31 last appearance award. The star of the show, most appearances so far in NFL Imperialism have been the Titans by a pretty large margin. I think it's like 6 appearances. So Titans are going to be holding this for a hot minute at the moment. Bloodlust, of course, the most eliminations. Also, pretty good gap. I think like a 3 elimination gap. Titans are really bloodlust in both of these last NFL Imperialisms. Have performed very well. The big-time player, the highest average points for per game, are the Packers so far. So with 5 games, so the number below the Packers here indicates the amount of games they played. The Packers have scored 41.8 points on average per game, so it's very, very impressive. While the Jaguars have only played 2 and average 18.5, being the lowest average points for per game. So they're a down bad award currently. The defensive struggles, highest average points against per game. The Bills have played 2 games, and they have had 44 points scored against them. So really big defensive struggles for them. Meanwhile, the 49ers hold the defensive might trophy with lowest average points against per game with 23.25 with 4 total games. Hometown hero, most home games, the Titans still hold that, but it's pretty close. I think there's a couple teams right behind them. The traveling nomad, most away games, the Dolphins still hold that, but that's also fairly close with a couple teams just right behind. No claim here. States that have still not been claimed so far are Delaware, Maine, and New Jersey. Their placements really afford them a really good chance at keeping this award basically to them, but they did lose one of their compadres in this last one. The home versus away stats for both of them so far, the home is 26 and 36, and away is 36 and 26. Still, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not too just big in discrepancy, but like it's still, it's kind of concerning for the home team that they don't really have much of an advantage at all, actually. Divisional breakdowns, of course, here are going to be on screen with total wins, total expansions, and their average placement throughout both of the Imperialisms. Basically, NFC North, 21 average placement, 5 wins, 3 expansions. NFC South, 20.88 average placement, 3 wins, 6 expansions. Then you got the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, 18th placement, 9 wins, 7 expansions. Steelers, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, 17.63 average placement, 6 wins, 1 expansion. Colts, Titans, Texans, Jags, 15.13 placement with its whopping 14 wins, 4 expansions. Really, the Titans are carrying that one quite a bit. Next up, the last NFC team, 15 average placement, 6 wins, 11 expansions, 13.25 placement, 8 wins, 4 expansions for the AFC East. And then AFC West really have a really strong lead with 11.25 average placement, 11 wins, 6 expansions. A lot of their placed teams have a good kind of foothold. Broncos have a very good, nice location. Raiders are a decent location along with the Chargers right next to each other, so they kind of hurt each other more than anything. But beside the point, kind of interesting to see this is where currently are. and kind of seeing the conference breakdown. The AFC's leading by a whopping like 16 wins, 39 total wins. NFC has 23 total wins. And the AFC has 15 expansions, while the NFC loves expanding at 27 expansions. So kind of weird to see these stats so far. And that's it. That is the total, all of these stats so far for NFL Imperialism. There's a couple things I was going to include, but I think I've found a good way of going about this. I may show the Excel sheet in the future where I may kind of go deeper with it all, I guess. I'll kind of bring my beautiful face back in here. So I may do that a little bit more in the future with showing more of the Excel stuff. And I don't know if I'll do a breakdown for each year or each game or each round or what, but right now I'll keep a cumulative one as well as a single game, as a single reference one, or single like Madden 2005 will be next, Madden 2006. But either way, this has been Madden 2004 NFL Imperialism. I know at the point I'm recording this, it's going to be kind of a wacky time getting this out. It's probably going to go out pretty late on Friday of that week, of this week, basically. So, or not, either Friday or Saturday, depending. Hopefully late Friday is when you'll see this, but if not, you'll see this sometime Saturday. Either way, this has been fun. Another Madden 2004 Imperialism. Kind of improved my recording techniques and everything a little bit from this one. But hopefully you'll see the NFL Madden 2005 Imperialism very soon as well. Love Madden Imperialism, and I hope you guys do as well. Thank you guys for watching. StraightA Dawson, out.